Hello, how are we all doing? Good to see you. Welcome back to Premier League Dad. My name's Kee. We are live for Spain against England, live UEFA Nations League in the women's game, which is the first women's game we've done on this channel. And yeah, we've got, I think this is the final game. This is the final game. And there's a chance for England to go through as group winners. They're only 2 points behind Spain. So there's a chance for England women to go through. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know an awful lot about the women's game. I've said that repeatedly on this channel. I haven't watched an awful lot of women's footy, so I can't tell you an awful lot about it. But this is an education for me tonight. Maybe it's an education for you too. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you're a dinosaur that's stuck in the men's game and hasn't watched an awful lot of the women's game. If that's you, join me. We're on an educational journey here. We're going to watch a bit of the women's game. It's live on ITV1. I don't know if you're elsewhere in the world. We get a lot of people from around the world watching these games as well with us. If you are watching from elsewhere, I don't know what channel you might be able to get it on, but it's certainly live on ITV1 in the UK. But good to have you all with me, and yeah, really looking forward to a bit of footy, as always. Live for the 50,000th day in a row, or whatever it is, it feels like. We've been live for a good while now. We're on the streak. The streak is going. And I want to hear your predictions for tonight's game. Spain against England. Not England against Spain. Spain against England. It is in Spain. I don't know where in Spain. Where are they playing the game? Let's educate. Let's educate. I don't know where they're playing the game. Where is it? Where is it being held today? UEFA Nations League Women. It's being held at... Where's it being held at? Where's the game at? Where is it? The RCDE Stadium. Where's the RCDE Stadium? I don't know where that is. Let's have a look. The RCDE Stadium. Oh, it's Espanyol Stadium. Oh, why didn't they say that? It's not called the RCDE Stadium. It was the Cornellà Prat, as far as I was known. Oh, well, that's maybe... Anyway. It's Espanyol Stadium. It's been being played at Espanyol Stadium. Spain against England women in the UEFA Nations League. Join me. Why don't you? As always, massive thank you to our sponsors on this channel, Premier League Dad, Match Bingo. If you haven't yet gone and signed up to Match Bingo, if you've not yet been and checked them out, they're absolutely brilliant. If you like a bet on the football, if you don't like a bet on the football, stay away. They're not for you. If you do like a bet on the football, like I do, then I'm sure you're going to love them. They're absolutely brilliant. It's basically all the things we love about a bet on the footy, with all the things the fun you might associate with a game of bingo. So you buy a bingo card, you get 15 random events that can take place during a game, and you think you can buy a bingo card for tonight's game, for example, and it'll say things like Spain free kick, corner to England, and as those things happen during the game, it ticks off on your card. You get prizes for a line, prizes for 2 lines, prizes for a full house, the same way that you do in bingo. If you deposit £5, you get £10 free via the link that is on screen right now, or you can click the link in my description, whatever works for you. But if you can do that, it's absolutely supporting the channel, and it's worth a go. It's a really good app. It's innovative. I think it's quite different, and I quite enjoy it. I thought it'd be a good fit for our channel anyway, because we like a flutter on this channel, don't we? We like a bet on the old, Chimey, if you're watching, the Panama under-20s women against the Canadian under-20s women. Some take it a little bit too far with that one, but others, we just like a bet on the footy. But listen, really looking forward to this one. I am, as I say, I'm being educated. Serena Wiegman's just giving her pre-match interview before the game. But yeah, really looking forward to this one. It's an education for me. I haven't watched an awful lot of the women's footy over the last 12-18 months or so. Did watch a little bit when they won the Euros, but not an awful lot since then, if I'm awfully honest with you. I've been focusing a lot on growing the channel in the men's game. But I think this is a great opportunity. Obviously, we've got the women's Euros coming up next month as well. We'll probably be doing quite a bit of that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting an education. If you're a dinosaur like me, as I said, if you're a dinosaur like me stuck in the men's game, this is a great opportunity to learn a little bit more about the nuances and the many differences in the women's game, which I'm sure there are, same as there are in any differences in sport. But yeah, listen, thank you very much for coming back and joining us. I can see the comments are already flying in. I want to get your predictions on this. We'll go through the lineups, we'll go through all that shortly. I want to talk about all sorts of stuff There's been loads of movement in the last 24 hours since we spoke. Bruno Fernandes announcing that he isn't going to Saudi. What do we make of that? Bruno Fernandes announcing he's not going to Saudi. That's put a spanner in the works, hasn't it, for Manchester United? Certainly. 1 second, let's just catch up with the chat. Pure Loyalist, hope the women's win this comfortably. That's why I'm going for 4-2 victory. Nice, good to see you, Pure Loyalist, as always, mate. Michael, good evening, Kieran. Hope you're well. Same to you, Michael, as always. Good to have you on the channel, mate. Your insights are always valuable. Michael, Kieran, I think this is the first time I've seen you covering a women's match. Great to see you're covering these matches too. Yeah, well, we've pledged to do the Women's Euros next month as well, so we'll be doing a lot more of the women's game, certainly over the next month, definitely. Again, the only reason we've not done an awful lot of it recently is purely because I don't know an awful lot about it, mate. That's literally it. So, first opportunity here, really, for me to get stuck into it, and you can all see what a dinosaur I am. Substub, yo, how's it going, Substub? Pure Loyalist, very surprised that I managed to get here before chat. Yeah. Ollie Chambers, good to see you, Ollie. How's it going, mate? How's life treating you, mush? It's good, man. Really good. Yes, thank you. And they're not for me, those comments, are they? Sorry, I just sort of thought you were chatting back and forth. That's good. So let's do the lineups. Let's go through the lineups. The ladies' lineups. Oh, I've not even turned my light on. No wonder you can't see me. I've not even turned my light on. I've had an absolute shocker. Right, so lineups are as follows. It is Cata Cole in goal for the Spanish women. Ona Battler, Paredes, Alexandri, Lopez, Carmona, and then in midfield, Bonmati. I do know Aitana Bonmati. I do know that. I do know that Bonmati's a very, very talented midfielder. Plays for Barcelona. Guijaro in midfield alongside her, and Putellas. And then up front, it is Caldenti, Gonzalo Rodriguez, and Paraluelo. That's a very lovely sounding surname. Salma Paraluelo. Love that. So, 1 second. There was. Who was it? Oh, it was Esther Gonzalez Rodriguez, who has been Spain's top scorer, I believe, in the Nations League campaign. She plays for Gotham FC in New York, which, again, this is what I mean. Like, it's a team I'm just not familiar with. Gotham FC, Spain's top scorer. And the only thing I know about Gotham is Batman. I mean, that's literally it. So, curious. Very, very curious to see what you all make of the news about Bruno Fernandes, about this game. Obviously, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your predictions. Ollie, have you seen Dortmund are in for Job, pal? I have, yeah. What do you make of that? Feels like he's following his brother. Do you think he might end up at Real Madrid himself in a few years? AM, any news on the Wirtz deal? I believe that Liverpool were focusing very much on closing that deal in the next sort of 24 to 48 hours. Obviously, they've sold Brentford. They've sold Kelleher to Brentford. Flecken has gone to Leverkusen from Brentford. And those two deals have been very, very below what people actually thought they would be. I'm really, really surprised that lots more people aren't putting two and two together here, by the way. Liverpool, here's an interesting equation for you, you know. Here's a very, very interesting little... And I might be doing 2 + 2 = 5, but just have a little think here. Liverpool sold Quaveen Kelleher, who everyone thought would go for about 30 million quid, right? They all thought he would go for about 30 million quid. Liverpool had a 20% sell-on clause with Quaveen Kelleher from his club back in Ireland, in Cork, right? So they knew if they sold him for 30 million, they'd have to give £6 million back to the Irish team, whoever it is. I think it's the team who produced Kelleher, basically. But yes, it's a team in Ireland, in Cork. They would have got an absolute fortune for it, right? So it's a little bit sly from Liverpool if this is indeed what's happened, but it's maybe smart. It's very smart on the old cashola from Liverpool. But I think what's happened is Liverpool have gone to Leverkusen and to Brentford. Listen, Leverkusen. I reckon you want Mark Flecken. That's the goalkeeper you want. Kelleher, they want Brentford from Brentford. They want Kelleher from us, right? So there's a little whole thing here, right? We're all trying to get what we want, right? There's a gap between what Liverpool think Wirtz is worth and what Bayer Leverkusen think Wirtz is worth. So Liverpool have gone, right, okay, well look, we can do a deal here where Brentford get Kelleher, we get Wirtz, and you get Flecken. And we all pay a lot less than we all pay roughly what we thought we was going to pay. Kelleher's gone to Brentford for 12 million quid. That's probably half what he's worth. So Brentford have got the deal of the century, and they've all said, well, okay, I think Liverpool and Leverkusen have kind of said, well, look, what if we did a deal that was slightly better for Mark Flecken then? Mark Flecken, a Premier League established goalkeeper last year, why don't we get him for maybe 8 million quid? 8 million quid for Mark Flecken. That doesn't make sense to anybody, does it? And the only way that works, the absolutely only way that works is if Liverpool, Leverkusen and Brentford have got in a room and gone, right, let's just make this work for all of us here on the old FFP, on the old financial sheets. So I think Wirtz gets done now. I really do. I really do. Xavier, I think Bruno needs to go. This is the funny thing now. United fans they've all got it in their heads, haven't they? He's going. So they've psyched themselves up, ready for him going, and this big money coming in so they can go and spend big. And now he's staying. He's staying. I don't think there's any United fans who seriously think that's good news. I really don't. Kingsloth loved Fernandes showing his love for the club. He's not showing his love for the club. He just doesn't want to go and play in Saudi. He doesn't want to go and play in Saudi. MP Leaf, will there ever be a boy born who can swim faster than a shark? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. How can I... what's the I love The Office, by the way. I'm trying to think of quotes now off the top of my head. I don't like jelly. Don't trust the way it moves. Luke Porth, you've been watching too much AFTV. Mate, that is what's happened. I'm telling you, that is what's happened. It's not conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. I am telling you that is what's happened. Brentford, Liverpool and Leverkusen have had a chat and they've said we can all get what we want here. We just all have to play ball, right? Brentford, you do a slightly better deal for Leverkusen and we'll do a better deal for you with Kelleher. And Brentford have gone, sound. We're going to have to pay 4 million quid and we'll get our kid, the guy we actually want. Sound, no problem. I'm telling you, Wirtz will be wrapped up in a matter of days now. Owen, thoughts on Villa? I like Villa. Yeah, I really like Villa. I really like Unai Emery. I'm just a bit disappointed that they didn't quite make Champions League on the final day. I thought, Villa, over the course of the season, I thought Villa were better than Newcastle. So I'm really disappointed. Luke Porth, truth is, Eric Ten Hag is a fraud and keeps signing players from the agency that represents him. Eric Ten Hag's not a fraud, mate. He won 2 cups back to back and got Manchester United finishing in 8th last year. And every United fan would have you believe that this United side is absolutely dreadful and the relegation fodder and they need to rip the whole team up and it's crap. And Ruben Amorim, poor Ruben, he can't do anything. Ruben Amorim can barely manage this team. They're that bad. He's like Sunday League players. No accountability for Ruben Amorim, but Eric Ten Hag, he was awful. Yeah, he was awful. He only managed to get us 8th and winning the FA Cup and the League Cup back to back. Unbelievable. Ollie, have you seen? We've seen that one. Pure Loyalist, I see Bruno's decided to stay put. Probably the old news, but I've just noticed it. No, it was today, mate. Yeah, it was pretty much this morning. Very interesting. Daz Reynolds, big up England, 4-0, I say. Okay, well, we're coming up to... We've got 15 minutes to kick off. Ollie, I don't think it's good for Job, to be honest, mate, and I don't want him to go. He's been good for Sunderland, but he has been good, and I hope the best for him. That's true. Yeah, that's true. And do you know what? I think he has. He's done well at Sunderland, hasn't he? Maybe he earned a move. I think... No disrespect to Sunderland, Ollie, I don't think you're going to stay up. I really don't think you're going to stay up. If Bellingham goes and you get big money for him, maybe you can. Maybe you can go and get some experience and you can maybe try and stay up and become a slightly different team. Pure Loyalist, swings and roundabouts regarding transfers. Don't they want Kwanzaa or Elliott at Leverkusen? They do, yeah. Elliott and Kwanzaa and Morton is another one that's been mentioned. King Sloth, Bruno, my captain. Bruno, my captain. Oh, they'll all change now. The narrative will all change again now. Now Bruno Fernandes is staying. They'll all love him. He's brilliant again. He's absolutely brilliant again. Test, top 3 players of all time. Ronaldo, Messi, Yamal. Tell me you've only been watching football for the last 15 years without telling me. Reece, Barca are in talks to sign Partey. Gutted, to be honest. If you sell Partey and you replace him with Zubimendi, I think that's a terrible, terrible idea. Terrible idea. Manchester City fan, what is your favourite football team? I'm a Liverpool fan, mate. Yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan. King Sloth, it's less than 30 million for Job because a big club came in for him. 30 million for Job. That does feel quite cheap, I guess, doesn't it? For a player of that ilk, of that quality. Thank you for the follow, Manchester City fan. And Jake, thank you very much for sending all that. You're an absolute star as always, mate. Thank you for that. Love that. I don't know. We need to sort this because I need to. I don't know how I make you a mod, but I need to make you a mod. I might need to do it after it. Owen, is Job really that good? Job, yeah, I think Job's good. I don't know if he's maybe as good as his big brother, but he's good. He's got talent. He's got potential. He's still a young lad. You know, he's done well at Sunderland. I think there's ability there. And I think Borussia Dortmund's proven to be a good club, hasn't it? For his family. His family have looked at it and gone, well, they did really well with Jude, so why wouldn't they do well with Job? And obviously they trust them. So yeah, they obviously see that as a perfect platform for him to go and kick on and perform and go to the next level. So why not? Why not? Pink Pineapple 2004. Good to see you, man. I think his name is mentioned a lot due to his brother's calibre. Yeah, sometimes that does happen, doesn't it? Sometimes that does happen. Jimmy Smith, Kelleher to Brentford. Deserves a better club, doesn't he? I think Kelleher has gone to a good club with Thomas Frank. I think Brentford are a good club. I mean, they came very, very close. A whisker to qualifying for Europe. They could have qualified for Europe on the last day. So, yeah, I don't think for 1 second that Brentford are anything other than a very good club. I really like him. And I'm sure Kelleher will do very well as the number 1 there. And I think he's helped Liverpool by going to Brentford, because I think that massively helps us with the Wirtz deal. I think that sweetens the Wirtz deal because that's allowed Brentford to sell Flecken to Leverkusen for a very, very cheap price. So they've got a cheap price for Flecken. We've sold Brentford Kelleher at a very cheap price, probably to counterbalance that. And then we can get Wirtz for the price that we want. I think that's what it is. It's almost certainly that. Tom, I can see the Wirtz deal collapsing. Mate, the Wirtz deal is not collapsing. It is not collapsing. The Wirtz deal is done. It is done. It's the only thing that needs to be sorted is the schedule. It's the payment schedule. That's all that's being held up. Bonuses. What happens if he wins the Ballon d'Or? How much do we owe by Leverkusen? Is it paid across his full contract? Is it paid across 5 years? Is it paid across 3? Is it paid across 2? How much is paid up front? There's all these different things to be sorted out, and sometimes that can be the final bit. That difficult bit getting it over the line, it's all pretty much done. There's not that much distance between the two clubs on Wirtz, and he only wants to come to Liverpool now. So yeah, Wirtz is going nowhere but Liverpool. He's a Liverpool player already, in everything but name. King Sloth, he had a release clause of 37.5 million, but if a big club comes in, less than 30. Okay. Pink Pineapple, hope you're okay, mate. Yep, you too, man. Definitely, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm loving it, as always. Ollie, I can see why Dortmund would go for him. Who knows what Sunderland will stay up in the Prem. So much has changed from the last time Sunderland were in it, so I don't know, mate. I think you just need experience. I think that really is all it is. I think you've got a great keeper there in Patterson. I think Mayenda's got a lot of talent. Isidore can be a Premier League striker. I don't think he's going to be phenomenal, but I think between Mayenda and Isidore, you have got goals. I think Dan Neil is very underrated in that midfield. I think your centre-backs, Ballard, Luca 9, there's some ability there, but you probably could do with another centre-back. I think you could probably do with picking up a couple of wide players maybe as well. But there's some experience needed. I'd quite like to see Sunderland go and get Jordan Henderson, just for nothing else other than I think he would do wonderfully, wonderfully well back in the Premier League and playing for his hometown club, the club he grew up supporting. So yeah, I think Sunderland would do really well to get Henderson in. Scott Grice, come on England. If we win tonight, we play in the Nations League women's semi-final. Come on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. A win tonight is what's needed. It's a big game for England. They have to win to get past Spain. Michael, I see Liverpool and Manchester United are the first clubs out the blocks getting new recruits in, and Burmo and Cunha are good signings. Frimpong and Wirtz potentially could be strong signings for Liverpool too. I'm surprised Kelleher went for such a low fee, as my club Leeds had an eye on him until Liverpool raised his price to 35-40 million. Now he's gone to Brentford for under 20 million. It's crazy. It's honestly, Michael, it really isn't crazy. When you really think about it, it isn't crazy. Liverpool have done a deal that suits them. By selling him for what I would argue is a half, maybe even a third of what he's actually worth. What you said there, Leeds were quoted 35-40 million, there or thereabouts, for Kelleher. And we've sold him for 12.5 million is the fee we've got for Quivine Kelleher. 12.5 million. And that just offsets the whole Florian Wirtz thing. It really does. The fact we've sold him for cheap helps us get Wirtz over the line. And it benefits Brentford, it benefits Leverkusen, so it's all good. Brandon Kelleher is a brilliant signing for Brentford. Great keeper, yeah, absolutely. Brentford struck gold. Kelleher should be playing on the continent, absolutely. George, is this women's football? It is, yeah, it is. It's at Espanyol Stadium in Spain. It is England against Spain in the UEFA Nations League. And potentially, England could be going through to the semi-finals. Oh no, there's quarterfinals, isn't it? Won't be semi-finals, it'll be quarterfinals. Tom, do you reckon the Wirtz deal is done? Yes. Yeah, it is, pretty much. It's all there. Alex, can't believe United got on Burmo and Cunha. Thoughts? Doesn't really concern me about Cunha. I don't know if they will get him Burmo yet. Yeah, I don't know if they will get him Burmo yet. And Burmo, there's still a lot of work to be done. I think now that they've lost Bruno Fernandes's money, I think now Bruno Fernandes is saying, I want to stay. I actually think they might pull out of the Mbeumo deal, you know. It wouldn't surprise me if Mbeumo ends up going to Newcastle at this point. Blake, good to see you. Nice one for joining, thank you. Kingslaw, think Liverpool want to pay 26.5 million a year for the 5 years, and they want more for less years. The gap is literally, it's peanuts in comparison to the full deal. It really isn't an awful lot. Ollie, Sunderland have officially signed Enzo from Roma. I know he was a bit shaky at the start, but I think he'll be mint for us in the Prem. Yeah, Enzo's a good player. I'm not sure if he'll be the difference maker in the Premier League, though. I'll say that. Alfie, what's happening with the lap? He signed for Chelsea. Yeah, he's a Chelsea player, mate. He's literally, you know, the picture of him in the Chelsea shirt. Jake, man, you're getting Cunha and Mbeumo is amazing business. The problem is in the past they stopped getting Rooney's and your Ferdinands. Better players from mid-table clubs for players like Anthony abroad. I think with one game a week they might surprise a few if they continue in the window. Cunha and Mbeumo are proper Premier League players, says Jake. Well, we've talked about this before, haven't we, Jake? We've talked about it before. We know that Man United signing proper Premier League proven players hasn't worked before. Alexis Sanchez, prime example. Romelu Lukaku, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka joined, was great at Palace, joined, crap at United. He leaves, goes to West Ham. Brilliant again. West Ham Player of the Year. Absolutely sensational. So yeah, I don't think for 1 second that Man United signing Cunha and Mbeumo, assuming they get Mbeumo, and I still don't think they do. I think that news about Bruno Fernandes hitting, that'll have hit United very, very hard. Yeah, I think that'll hit United very, very hard. Welcome to Memeland. Are you watching women's football? We are, yes, we are. Alex, is Wirtz going to be a Prem record fee? He is, absolutely. Hankster, see my beloved Everton are signing loads of players. I'm looking forward to seeing what Everton do to try and actually stay up, I guess. Because it feels like you're losing a lot of players. Has there been news, Hankster, has there been any news on Garner Gay yet? I saw there was news coming out the other day that they'd agreed or they were about to offer him a new 2-year deal. But it just feels like Everton, it's all still a little bit up in the air. They haven't announced anything about Keane or Calvert-Lewin or Gay. So I'm curious to see what's going on. Not heard anything, yeah. Gay new deal. Where have you heard that there's Gay new... I've not heard that. I've really not heard that. Let me search Gay Everton. I have to... Don't clip that up. Here we go. Drissagana Gay, Everton. Still, there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing at all. There's nothing at all about Gay re-signing for Everton. TikTok official. Hi. Alfie, where's the photos of the lap? Twitter, mate. Yeah, it was all over Twitter. Ben, I seen a report. He was signing a new 2-year deal. Yeah, I mean, there's rumours. There's certainly rumours, but yeah, nothing confirmed. I mean, there was rumours that Decore was going to stay just before he announced that he was leaving. It feels like maybe it's all still up in the air with Michael Keane, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Idrissa Gay. And do you know what? And I think the frustration there for Everton fans is that obviously means, doesn't it, that the club are still trying to get that working. They're still trying to get those players to stay. There's no... If they were leaving, the club would have said, right, they're leaving. Let's announce they're leaving. They're going. The club don't want them, or the club can't afford to keep them, or whatever. It ain't working. There's no way they're staying. So the club announcing nothing tells you everything you need to know. That they're still trying to get a deal done for Michael Keane. They're still trying to get a deal done for Idrissa Gay. They're still trying to get a deal done for maybe Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Some of the loan players have all gone back. They've signed Charlie Alcaraz. We know that Everton are active in the market, but it just feels like a really odd thing that they'd be continuing to pursue, securing these same players back to contracts who, in fairness, haven't really done all that well for Everton. And meanwhile, there's all these other rumours saying that Everton are about to sign or chasing, O'Reilly from Brighton and Maxime Esteve from Burnley. There's all these players who Everton are being linked with, and you're looking at it and thinking, how are they signing these players? They can barely... No way they're signing all these players. Hankster, I know he's supposed to be signing. This is Everton we're talking about here. JFC, good to see you, Jay. We need a striker. Garner's staying. DCL is going. Keane will go too. I think that's what you want to happen, isn't it, Jay? That is what you want to happen. I'm not sure whether it will happen. England are about to kick us off here now. Saw a link to Ben Doak. Absolutely, yeah. Ben Doak to Everton. Now, that is one I'm watching with bated breath, because if Everton get Ben Doak, I think there's real movement there for Liverpool and Jared Branthwaite. I think there's an opportunity there. Jared Branthwaite to Liverpool. We are off here in the Espanyol's stadium in Spain. Spain against... Oh, hang on a minute. They were already in straight away down the left-hand side here. Cleared away by England. Very nicely done. Ben, I'd be astounded if O'Reilly went to Everton. I wouldn't be astounded. He had a good time in the SPL, didn't he? He was at Celtic. Obviously, David Moyes will have connections up at Celtic. We'll know him well from up there. And he's gone to Brighton. It hasn't really worked out for him. I don't think Matt O'Reilly's done all that well at Brighton. So it wouldn't surprise me if... He's signing players with a Scottish connection, isn't he? Matt O'Reilly from Celtic. Ben Doak, Scottish. He's looking at players like that who he can hang his hat on, And there's no surprise at all with David Moyes. It's far more important to him, I think, that he gets up here right, less so the player, because he can make a player better. We know that with David Moyes. He can get a tune out of a group of players if they're all pulling in the same direction, they're all of the same mindset. But if he gets a great player and a really talented player, and he's a bit of a, head the ball, bit of a curveball, then it can throw you a little bit, can't it? Ollie, I think Endo would do well for Sunderland, like, mate. Just give these kids some good, proper experience. Absolutely agree. Yes. Michael, for me, England blew their chance in this group by losing away to Belgium 3-2 in April, having topped the group and beaten Spain at Wembley, but that defeat enabled Spain to move ahead of England in the group. Well, Spain doing all the early pressing here. It's cleared away to the edge of the area. As you'd imagine, Spain are, in Spain, it's bound to be the home team, always likely to apply the most pressure. Litigation, hi Kee in chat, England ladies, 2 goals, 1 point. Nice. Okay, well let's keep an eye on that one, Litigation. Big Bunny, Richarlison to Rotherham. Oh God, no way. Ostermore could see that with the Abu situation. Apparently, Kanate is advancing on a new contract. We'd love to see Kanate and maybe Branthwaite coming in as backup to Kanate and Van Dijk. He'll still get a lot of game time, but obviously he'll be playing for the best team in the land. Madrid zone. Where in earth is England? Where in the earth England is playing in Spain? It's in Espanyol, mate. Yeah, Espanyol Stadium. Corner to Spain here. Whipped in by Paraluelo. Flicked on. Chance for Spain. Could be. Great save by the keeper, that. That was some save. 6 yards out. Really should score, to be honest. Lovely little swivel. Smashed it down the centre of the goal. Keeper gets a save on it. You love to see that. Great save. Hankster, can Liverpool afford 80 million for Branthwaite? It ain't going to be 8. Come on. I know you're an Everton fan, but there's no way. Listen, if we give you Ben Doak's worth 30 million of anyone's money. I think it's... I should say, are you surprised and Bermo still wants to join United? I don't know if United get him anymore. That's a really good save, It's a really, really good save. Who was it who hits this? Who hits this? It's the number 9. It's Esther. Esther strikes it. Great shot on target. Lovely save by the keeper. Going the wrong way as well. Branthwaite 100 million. How are you pricing that up? Like, I'd love to know the logic and the rationale in suggesting 80 million and 100 million for Jarrad Branthwaite. In what world do you think you get 80 to 100 million for Jarrad Branthwaite? There's no logic to it. Absolutely no logic to it. JP, seen links of Grealish to Tottenham. I think that's a good move. Yeah. Grealish to Tottenham, Grealish to Everton. Apparently Grealish to Man United was the one doing the rounds. There's a lot of rumours about Jack Grealish to Man United. Madrid zone. United are building such a great attack with Cunha and Bermo and Gyökeres. I think if Bruno Fernandes is staying, which now it looks like it's going to be, I don't think for 1 second that Bermo goes to United. Dan, Branthwaite's not worth more than 35 million. Whoa, fighting words, Dan. Yeah, I think he's worth more than 35 million. I'll say that, but I don't think he's worth anywhere close to. Like, put it this way: Man United offered 45 for him, didn't they, last summer? And Branthwaite wanted to leave. Branthwaite said, he agreed personal terms. It was announced. It was all over the papers. All in the reported journals had said, Branthwaite has said yes to United. He's agreed. He wants to go. And they couldn't quite agree a fee. 45 million, Everton was like laughing at him. But I think you're never ever going to sell a player if you don't have a realistic valuation. And I think Branthwaite has probably said realistically this summer, I stayed last summer. I stayed. I didn't push. I didn't fight. I stayed. I don't think for 1 second he's going to be happy staying at Everton. I'd be amazed if he's happy staying at Everton. If he's got any ambition, the lad will want to leave, won't he? He'll want to go and try and challenge and win things. And he's been at Everton now a good few years where big clubs have wanted to come in for him. It'd be astounding if he stays at Everton. And if he does, you know what? Fair play to him. If he does, there's nothing wrong with that. One club, your Matt Letizier's and all these who stayed at clubs where they didn't win a bean. Maybe that's what Jarrad Branthwaite is happy and content being. If he's happy at Everton, likes the area, likes the club, doesn't want to leave, that's fine. No problem. But you always assume that players, that's horrendous defending by England. Chance. Miles wide. Oh, that was awful. That was like a proper Titus Bramble moment there at the back. Unbelievable. Esther just about puts it wide. Ben, if O'Reilly ends up at Everton, I'll eat my hat. Same as I said when you were saying Delap to Everton. Delap was gonna go to Everton, I think. 1 second, let me catch up. Ben, Delap will be a flop at Chelsea. Watch and learn. Does Gomez leave if Kwanzaa does? I think if Kwanzaa will go, Joe Gomez won't though. Joe Gomez is too good. He'll stay. Connor, no way. He can only be a flop if he scores 1 goal the whole season. The Real Donut, good to see you, mate. Jake, João Pedro just been named as a top target on Sky for the Toon. João Pedro, why would he go to Newcastle? Jack Spurs, good to see you. Osama, women's football. Listen, we'll have less of that, Osama. We'll have less of that, mate. Fish, what do you think of Star Wars? I've never seen it. Again, there's some curveballs in terms of films you could throw at me, and I've seen a lot of very, very good films. But I would never ever say I'm a film buff. No. Not Star Wars, anyway. Gilfy Sigma, what game are you watching? We are watching Espanyol women against England women in the UEFA Nations League. It's a big, big game for England. Really good game. Litigation, I've just seen that comment, mate. I've got to watch when I read these comments out. I sometimes just go on autopilot and I'm like that, just looking across, and I start to read them out. You're going to get me banging trouble saying things like that. Hankster, think if Arsenal get that lad from Sporting, they'll win something next year. Who? Gyökeres? Why do people have this like big thing for Gyökeres? Honestly, I just don't rate him. I don't rate him. He's all right, like, but no more than all right. CJ, yes, lad, support your local wool Jedi. Love it. Great ball in, unlucky, cleared away. Doak isn't worth 30. Why is Doak not worth 30 million? Brewster was. Doak, I'll tell you something else as well. Doak had more, I think it was more take-ons in the first half of the season at Middlesbrough. Doak had more take-ons than any other winger in Europe. He had more carries into the box than any other winger in Europe. Doak's absolutely fantastic. Really, really good player. I think you'll be surprised by the final fee for Ben Doak. Bukia Rey Mysterio, Everton. Okay. Robert Caruana, do you have a relationship? I want to be in one with you. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Robert. And Burmo needs a psychiatric assessment. Any knowledge on David Hopkinson? Hankster, how much did Maguire go for? Maguire went for, I think it was 80 in the end. Did it end up going for 80? Yeah, but you're looking at it and going, well, Maguire went for 80. Branthwaite's as good as Maguire, or better. Therefore, he's 80. That's not how the market works. Plus, Harry Maguire was playing for a much better team, and a team that had not long won the Premier League. You know, they were fighting. They were up there. Everton aren't. Everton need the cash as well. Plus, I don't think Harry Maguire was actually fighting to leave the club, whereas I think Jared Branthwaite will. If he's any sort of player, Jared Branthwaite will. Michael Hannah-Hampton is the England goalkeeper. Took over from long-time England goalkeeper Mary Earps, who called time on her England international career last week, having, I believe, dropped down the pecking order. Well, it was a great save, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a great save. Spain are in behind again here, but it's offside. But yeah, that was a great save from the keeper. Jack, when is Ange Postecoglou... When is Ange Poster no clue getting sacked? Allegedly, it's this week. Yeah, allegedly, it's this week, according to all the reports. Doak to Blues, can't happen, no way. It's happening, I'm telling you. Doak's a gem, loves take-ons. Everton don't need the cash, fella. Why do you think that, Lou? They do, of course they need the cash. They definitely need the cash. They're skint. They've just remortgaged this massive debt. They need the cash. Oh, it's wonderful. Play down the left-hand side for England. Again, offside. CJ, Robert wants you. He's only human. He's only human. Emiliano, Joe Bellingham so close to going to Dortmund. Yeah. Lou, Branthwaite won't force a move. You pay 80 million or no chance. Again, I think you'll be very surprised. The fact that Man United only offered 45 million, Everton said no, and then United just walked away, I think tells you everything that you need to know. Everton are valuing Branthwaite far, far too highly. The rest of the market, the rest of the football world don't think he's that good. Don't think he's that good, don't think he's that valuable. And 45 to 50 million, maybe a touch more, maybe, I don't know. You might be able to get that for him, but you're not getting anywhere close to 80 million for him. He's not even in the England squad. He's not in the England squad. He hasn't had a standout season. Everton are right down there. They might well be down there again, probably will be down there again next season. I don't think for once, must be, unlucky, runs through to the keeper. Very, very good chat. Again, it's Esther, the Spanish centre-forward, number 9. She's causing all sorts of problems there. But it just, the ball loose at the edge of the box, just ran through. Oh, unlucky. Everton should sign Nunes from us. They can't afford Darwin Nunes. Darwin Nunes would be Everton's best player, comfortably. Michael, why would Tottenham sack Ange when he's just won them their first trophy in 17 years? I just don't get it. No, nor do I, Michael. Nor do I, and I'm really puzzled by it. I am really, really puzzled by it. I'm really quite disappointed, actually. The guy's just won them whatever it is. First trophy in 17 years, yes. But that was only the League Cup. It's their first meaningful trophy in nearly double that time, since about early 90s, isn't it? When they won the FA Cup. So it's been a good long while. I think Ange is a hero to a lot of Spurs fans for that reason. You know, he made a big claim. I always win something in my second year, and he's pulled it off. I think you'd be expecting him to keep his job, but I really do think if Daniel Levy does sack him, which is what's going to happen now, it is. You can see it's all pointing that way. All the news and all the rumours, all the noise coming out of Spurs, you can see it. That's what's going. That's what's going on. There's maybe just an agreement to be made now about settlements, but the decision has been made. I think Daniel Levy has informed Ange that that's it. We want you to go. And now what's happening is they're working out. Well, two things will be happening. One, behind the scenes, severance package. Severance package will be being agreed. That takes a bit of time. Severance package needs to be agreed. We're sacking you. We need to pay off the rest of your contract, but you can usually agree some sort of an agreement there. It's not just for him either. It'll be for him and his entire staff. All of his staff tend to get made redundant as well at the same time, or let go. So there's all that needs to happen. Plus, Spurs will have one eye on the next manager. They'll be going speaking to Thomas Frank. They'll be going speaking to, maybe Glasner, maybe Areola, whoever it might be. They'll be going speaking to several managers and getting a feel for whether or not they'd be up for replacing Ange Postecoglou. So there's a lot to do. It's not just about you sack a manager and within seconds sacked, announced. Sometimes it can take a bit of time. Sometimes it can take a little bit of time. Random videos, same. Jake, we have to question Mbeumo's mentality. Turn down Spurs, Toon and Arsenal, not for footballing reasons, for money. They'll quadruple his wages. Do we think it's just for that? Do we think it's just for wages? I really do think there's something to be said about Man United on your CV. Listen, I'm a Liverpool fan. I'll knock Man United, no problem. I'll knock them all day and all night. I love that. I love winding United fans up. And I'll absolutely, They give us grief, we give them grief. It is what it is. But I will say, they're still a big club. They will get it right eventually. We all have to enjoy this time where they're crap, because they will get it right eventually. And admittedly, I've been saying that for the best part of 10 to 12 years, and they haven't quite got it right. They've been a bit of a laughing stock, getting gradually worse and worse and worse each time. They've still managed to pull off some trophies in that time, which is more than can be said for, Arsenal and Villa and Newcastle, other clubs who would profess to be bigger and better opportunities than Manchester United, but actually haven't won anywhere near as much as they have in the banter era. So I'll defend United on that, and I still think if you want to win trophies, you're probably better off going to Manchester United than you are going to Newcastle. You've got Champions League football at Newcastle, But I do think you'd better off go to Man United. Again, it looks better on your CV, you know, and I think you've got a better chance of going there and being, quote unquote, a legend. You know, if you're part of the rebuild at Man United, you're eternal. You know, and I just think Man United is the stuff of dreams for some players. Newcastle and Villa aren't. They're a bigger club right now, or they're a better team right now. They're not a bigger club right now. They're a better team than United right now, but they're not. Nobody's dreaming of going to Villa and Newcastle. Not right now. CJ, Everton's best players are Branthwaite and Pickford. That's true. Ben, 22 league defeats. I don't get why you feel like Spurs are harsh to sack him. Well, okay. Well, Ben, answer me this. Do we think, for 1 second, that if Ange Postecoglou had finished 7th or 8th, but hadn't won the Europa League, do you think he'd be getting sacked? Do you think there'd be any question at all about anything, you know, whether or not he'd be getting sacked? I think Spurs could have finished 8th or 9th this season, and he'd have kept his job, even if they'd have won nothing. 8th or 9th, he probably keeps his job. So I'm a little bit puzzled why 22 defeats in the league doesn't mean anything. He won them a trophy. He won them a trophy for the first time in decades. A meaningful trophy for the first time in decades. Hotspur Army, why do I join when you're talking about Ange? Emiliano, Bruno rejected Saudi. What do you think about that? I think it puts Man United right back in the short. The short version of the answer to that is it's not the news that Man United wanted. I think Man United were pushing Bruno to leave just as much as Saudi were pushing. I think what we saw there is Saudi going, we'll offer 100 million for him, and Man United going, oh yes, we'll have a bit of that. Bruno, on your bike. And Bruno's gone, I don't really want to go to Saudi. And United are going, oh, go on, just go and meet him. Go and have a little... You just go and have a chat with them. See what they've got to offer, you know. Go. And they were shoving him out the door. They were desperate to get... He's 31 years of age, £100 million. Silly not to take that. That would have sorted United out. But Bruno Fernandes, quite rightly, he's dug his heels in. And he's gone, no, I'm not going to Saudi. I don't want to go to Saudi. I'm not throwing my career away. I want to stay in Europe. At least I want to go to... If I am leaving United, I'm going to a Bayern Munich, or I'm going to a PSG, somewhere where I can compete and challenge for the best things. Jack, listen up, he had to win it because we placed 17th. Jack, Thomas Frank, Leroy Sané, Eze and Walker Peters. What a summer. Michael, who of Tottenham then got lined up to replace Ange? Allegedly it is Thomas Frank. Yeah, they're the ones, that's the name doing the rounds, Michael. Jake, it'll be some window that. Spurs getting... Oh, God, I was very... Spurs getting Eze, Sané and Walker Peters. I don't think they'll get any of them. Sané seems to be making his mind about whether or not he's still deciding to see out his contract at Bayern, isn't he? Fish, what's better, Walsall or Warsaw? Well, I've never been to either. Got to say, actually, that's a lie. I have been to Walsall. So I would guess Warsaw. Based off that. No offence, Walsall. User, United have no rebuild. There is no project whatsoever. Well, there is a project. It's just maybe not as good as some players think it is. Kelleher, I'm happy for him with his situation with Brentford. I think it suits Liverpool. Absolutely. Hotspur Army, I'd love Ange for him to stay. There's some talks about Son leaving. Nah, Son ain't going anywhere. Son will see out his career at Spurs now. He's not worth the money to anyone. Adam, 464 AD, do Liverpool need Wirtz? Well, whether or not we need Wirtz... Oh, they scored! Get in there! England are 1-0 up. That's a big goal. That's a great... And there's going to be absolute rage here. Absolute rage, because there was a foul on the halfway line. I looked away for 2 seconds. There was a foul on the halfway line. There is an England goal. There's going to be a check. There's going to be a VAR check here. It looked like there was a foul on the halfway line. I don't think you're getting a foul for that. You're not getting a foul for that. And then it's just a long ball up the touchline, and England are in, and one-on-one. That's a wonderful finish. That's Thierry Henry-esque. Opens the body up and just glides it lower inside of the foot into the far post. Beautiful finish. There's just going to be a check on whether or not that actually stands. Russo with the goal. The ref, I mean, all the Spanish players are like this, saying, where's the whistle? You blew the whistle, or did they hear a whistle? There's no check, it's standing. There you go, 1-0. England are ahead. That's exactly what we wanted. The Candy Zone, hi mate, good to see you well. You too, mate. Nice to see you. As always, user not found. I would rather he leaves now on a high. If he leaves, does he leave on a high? Does he actually leave on a high? Do we think he does? I don't think he leaves in disgrace, don't get me wrong, but I think if he leaves, it'll actually kind of put a cloud over whoever the new manager is. If Thomas Frank comes in, as excited as that would be for Spurs, it feels a little bit like, like Ange Postecoglou would there'd be a load of Spurs fans. It feels like the Spurs fan base, you could carve them right down the middle right now. Half of them are thinking, we've got to keep him. He's just won us a European trophy. Got to keep him. And then others are like, 22 defeats in the league, 17th, we've got to get rid of him. How's he got his job? Get him out, get him out. So it's so tough for Daniel Levy, because he can't win. He can't win whatever he decides. Dream Chasers boss, I've seen Nottingham Forest are linked with 3 Botafogo players. 38 is this men's. No mate, it's the Spanish and English women's teams in the UEFA Euro Nations League. There are 3 Botafogo players, including the striker, who have been linked with Nottingham Forest. We'll see a little bit of Botafogo in the Club World Cup, actually. So if those deals don't get done in time, then we will see them at the Club World Cup. I am doing a Botafogo game. So if you're watching me, if you're sticking around, make sure you've followed. Make sure you've gone to YouTube and searched Premier League Dad. And you'll see we've got a load of Club World Cup games coming up later this month. Plus, we've got the Nations League games, the Men's Nations League games, the FIFA Club World Cup FIFA World Cup qualifiers, and the FIFA Club World Cup. That looked like a handball. Was it handball? Oh, how can that? That's got to be a penalty to Spain. That has to be a penalty to Spain. Oh, if that's not a penalty to Spain, I don't know what's going on here. Has she not give that? Oh, that's this. Honestly, that is madness. Has anyone just seen that? That is the most. That 110% gets. Again, I don't know if there's any nuances in women's referees that might maybe the handball rule might be slightly. I mean, I don't know how it's done in the women's game. If it's any different, to be honest, I don't understand the handball rule in the men's game. But that would be given 1,000,000% in the Champions League, in the Premier League. That gets given. That's a mad decision. Absolutely mad decision. Michael, Kieran, with all these potential big money signings amongst Prem clubs, are not some clubs under threat of PSR? Well, Man United, this is interesting you say this, Michael. Manchester United appear to have made a very definite decision about what they're going to do. Because if you believe the financial, the people who are a lot better with the finances than I am, right, in terms of PSR and FFP and what the rules are and how close clubs are and all that sort of thing, there's a lot of people who are saying that Manchester United are in quite a very close position in terms of maybe points deductions and things like that for next season, and they have 2 decisions to make. They could go one of 2 ways this summer. They could either try and rein in as much as possible, try and sell Sancho, sell Rashford, just sell everyone, sell Menu, sell Garnacho, sell them all, try and rebuild slower, maybe with cheaper players, maybe with some youth players, maybe it's a long-term project and they start that way and they recoup all of their losses and they go again, and then they start next season with a big healthy balance sheet. That was strategy number one. Strategy number two, which is the one they appear to be going for, is, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go out and spend a fortune now, right? And Burmo, Cunha, Gyökeres. Let's go and spend big. Let's go and get everything we can, all of our cash assets. Let's go and get all of our cash spent this summer. And we have to qualify for the Champions League then. If Man United do this and they spend big and they don't qualify for the Champions League, then next season, I am telling you, it's points deductions. It's absolutely certain points deductions. And then they will be in trouble. Oster, they don't want to do what Man United did with Ten Hag. That's true. That's true. That is true. I understand that. If Man United had maybe got rid of Ten Hag, then maybe they wouldn't have signed Xerxes. Maybe they wouldn't have signed various others. But you never know. You never know. Rafa, what game is on? The game is England women against Spain women in the Nations League. Hotspur Army, why do you want a penalty to Spain? I don't want a penalty for Spain. To be honest, mate, I don't support England. I don't support Spain. I'm just watching a football match, as far as I'm concerned. And that, for me, was a penalty. That was a penalty. Like 100 times out of 100, that was a penalty. Her arm was out here. Her arm was out here, and it hits her hand. It's a penalty. It's not even close. And I wouldn't mind. The ball comes from about 30 yards away. It's the clearest penalty you're ever likely to see. Blocksball, PSR is an excuse used by the Glazers. Look what Chelsea have done. Yeah, but Chelsea might get points deductions. Chelsea are running it close, aren't they? Ostermorg, you can tell their financials are bad when you see all the stuff Sir Jim has done. HSH, what club do you support? I support Liverpool, mate. Blocksball, City get nothing. Well, City, this is the thing. City, I don't think City get nothing. City, there's a real question mark about what's happening to City. City could be... It could be that it's just taking a good while. This is a 10-year investigation into Man City. In fact, it's longer, isn't it? It's over a decade of evidence, of testimony, of data, of interviews, of leaks and everything that's got to be compiled, and then it's got to be interpreted, and then it's got to be reviewed again, and then there's got to be an appeal, and then there's got to be what do we actually do once we've decided what the outcome is? What's the penalty? What do we actually give them? There's loads that needs to be decided with City, and they've got to get it right. They've got to get it very right. So the difficult thing for the Premier League and UEFA and anyone else involved in that whole thing is, if they punish City, they've got to have him absolutely, banged to rights. There can be no corners cut. There can't be anything. City's lawyers will do what they do best, which is slow things down, and they'll look for loopholes and things that can lessen any charges, lessen any penalties, all that sort of thing. That's what they're paid big money to do. And City don't mind. They'll drag it on for as long as possible. But for the Premier League, they have to get a result soon. And everyone, we're all getting frustrated, aren't we? Whoever you support, we're all getting frustrated with the Man City thing. Hotspur Army, depends if it was blocked on purpose. No, it doesn't. It's nothing to do with intent. Intent doesn't matter with the handball rule. Joseph, did you go to the parade? And if were you okay? No, mate, didn't go to the parade. No. Pure Loyalist, Russell Martin looks like he's heading to Ibrox over Ancelotti. How do you feel about that, Pure Loyalist? Because you're our resident Rangers fan. How do you feel about that? Jake, I think Villa need to sell by the end of June. The thing is, though, do you know what? This is the... Again, I saw on the Overlap, there was a thing where the Overlap were talking about... the Villa fan on there was going, it's so corrupt, and Liverpool and Manchester City and Man United, all these top six clubs, the big six are all protected, and Villa have to sell. And the Spurs fan went, hang on a minute, Villa have got one of the highest wages to turnovers in Europe. They've got they've made a very, very definite decision to have really high wages, and the turnover doesn't always massively compensate for that. So it doesn't matter how well Villa do. If they've got really, really high wages, it's always gonna make their FFP sheet look a little bit less fanciful. Good shot there from the edge of the area again from Esther. She's causing all the trouble there at the edge of the box for Spain, but just over the bar, a little bit of a floated one from the edge of the box. Little chip, I think it was. Might have even took a deflection. Michael, Man United should learn from PSG, who had a policy of signing big-name players. Messi, Neymar, Zlatan, Di Maria. Now they've gone for youth and experienced players, and it's paid off. Other clubs can learn. Chelsea got around PSR and FFP by putting a number of players on 8-year contracts. Well, a couple of points on that, Michael. Again, both really, really good questions. Thank you again. I think with PSG, I'm not sure they have gone for... Well, they have gone for youth and experienced players. They have, yeah, that's true. But I don't necessarily think Man United have tried... Man United have tried all sorts of different types of players, haven't they? They've gone for the Prem-proven player. They've gone for the... the expensive player, the one who's tearing up the league in the Eredivisie, Anthony. They've gone for, expensive players. They've gone for young players, really, really young players. They've gone for young English players. Dan James, that didn't quite work out as they thought it might. There's a lot of players who they've signed over the years who just haven't quite worked out for them. And I think the recruitment, however much money United have to spend, the recruitment's always going to be terrible. Ostermorg, what do you think about Klopp's old assistant going to City? I don't understand the overreaction to it, mate, if I'm really honest with you. I'm a Liverpool fan. I don't really care. I don't really care about him going to Manchester City. If I'm Pep Linden, as I probably would have done, the opportunity to work with Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola as their number two, he has basically cemented himself as the greatest number two in recent history, hasn't he? I mean, that's like he's worked with probably the two best managers, or at least two of the very best. Maybe not the two best, but two of the very, very best. Maybe of all time. Certainly, unbelievable. Pep Linders, I don't think he could turn down that opportunity. I haven't got a problem with it at all. Good luck to him. There's nothing at Liverpool. There's no opportunity for him at Liverpool, is there? So what do we expect him to do? Liverpool fans seem to be in uproar, absolutely outraged, calling him a rat and whatever. I don't really understand that. What do we expect him to do? Just not be employed for the rest of his career? Ethan, good to see you, Ethan. How you going? Jake, that's Villa's model. They get a half-decent squad every year, but sell their best players. Compared to Newcastle, who haven't made a sign in 3 windows, but keep their best players. Yeah, it's a very definite strategy decision, isn't it, Jake? That's it. Very definite strategy decision. Jack, Son to Liverpool. No, we wouldn't have Son at Liverpool. No. Not anymore. We probably would have done soon. Ethan, can I be the Premier League Daddy mental health ambassador? When we need one, yes. And we might well need one at some point next season, I'm sure. Michael, Leicester City are likely to get done by FFP and PSR when they were previously in the Championship by signing Winks and Conor Cody, taking out big bank loans to cover them, and being non-cooperative with the EFL. Well, that's part of Manchester City's charges, isn't it? I'm sure of like the 115 charges, I'm sure it's more now. I think about 35 to 50 of them are for non-cooperation. Basically for saying to the Premier League at different points, well, we just don't believe that you've got the authority to ask us for that information. And because we don't think you've got the authority to ask us for it, we're not going to give it you. So a lot of the time, it's like the Premier League saying, listen, you need to give us this. And the Man City are like, no. What happens if we don't? Well, we'll add another charge on. All right, we'll add another charge on then. Bloxball, do you think Ten Hag is behind the delay for Wirtz as revenge? No. Listen, the delay for Wirtz, I think, was mainly down to the gap in valuation and the payment schedule. It'll still happen. There's no worries about the Wirtz thing. He wants Liverpool. He's rejected everyone else quite publicly now. Leverkusen have already made their decision to move on without him. I don't think there's a world where Leverkusen carry on with Wirtz next season. So it'll happen. Yeah, it'll happen. Ostermorg, think it's because he said he'd never be a number 2 again. I know, but like that, things change, don't they? Things change, mate. Things change. You know, if you say you're never going to be a number 2 again, but then you go and try and be a manager and it really doesn't work and actually it makes you miserable, you hate the idea of being a manager, then actually maybe you were right being a number 2. Maybe some people are like that. Management isn't for everyone. It's not easy. Many people do just thrive as the assistant manager, as the second voice, as the other voice in the room. It happened with Carlos Queiroz. Carlos Queiroz, exceptional assistant manager to Sir Alex. It was the same with Brian Kidd as well. Brian Kidd was like that. There's not many who are great assistant managers and go on to be fantastic managers. They're usually, you're either one or the other. You're either fantastic backup or you're the main man. And there's no shame at all in that. I think he's maybe gone and tried to be a manager, thinking that he wants to be the main man. He's tried it out and it hasn't worked. So I have no problem with him going being... That was probably the best assistant manager's job he could probably have gone and got. Pep Lijnders. And Manchester City needed him. Go and do it. No problem. No problem. I ain't got an issue with that. The one and only, just had tenner on Russo, first goal. Nice. Ostermorg, to be fair, we do need a number 2 with slots 1 going to Ajax. Wonder if we get Kite. No, that's not a number 2. That's a first team coach. So Arne Slot's number 2 is Sipke Hulshoff. That's our assistant manager. A first team coach is not the same thing. Johnny Heitinger was our first team coach, and if Johnny Heitinger has gone to Ajax, we will get probably Dirk Kuyt or one of 2 other Dutch players, Dutch ex-players, to come in. Chance for England. You can't give an handball for that. Christ, if you don't give the handball at the other end of the pitch, you can't give an handball for that. Bobby LFC. Oh, sorry, Kyron, do you support Liverpool? I do, Kyron, yes. Thoughts on Palace? Banned. Are Palace banned? Don't say Palace are banned. Don't say Palace are banned. Are they actually? I can't believe that. I can't believe that at all. Oh, they're just at risk of it. Okay. So apparently it's never ever likely to happen. So right, there you go. Fantastic. So there's no way that Palace get banned. Palace don't get banned. What's going to happen is the same thing that happened with Marinakis. The exact same thing that happened with Marinakis at Forest. John Textor doesn't run Crystal Palace. He's got a minority stake in the club. He doesn't have decisive control of the club. He doesn't make the big decisions there. He's just got an influence there. So he owns Lyon, or he's got a majority stake in Lyon, and that was why Crystal Palace might have been banned from European competition, because allegedly what he might have to do is either sell his Palace shares, or England are in here, could be two. No, it's off. Effectively means he keeps them, but actually he can't keep them. He gets rid of them on paper, but he's still got them. It's just a paper exercise. M.1, what time is Spain v England? It's on now, mate. They're 1-0 up, England. They're 1-0 up. Can't believe Inzaghi's off to Saudi. Hopes he returns to Europe after. Well, he'll go and get his money's worth first, won't he? Jake co-owner so goes to the highest place finish. Leon 6th place, Palace 12th. No, it didn't, mate. He'll just dilute his shares down, or he'll put them in a trust, and Palace will still be able to go in with Leon. There's no way that happens. Seb, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Josh Angus, Spain against England. Yep, it's live now on ITV, mate. It's the in the Nations League. Mike Maignan. Oh, Mike Maignan from AC Milan. That's an odd move, though. I don't think Mike Maignan goes there. Yeah, I just don't think he goes there. He's no more than a decent keeper, I would say, Mike Maignan. Spain pushing forward again. Josh, bro, you could have said it's women's. Well, hey, listen. To each their own. That might not be for you. That might not be for you, Josh, but it's actually not a bad game. Like I say, we watch games on this channel, Josh. That's why I was saying this. We do live watch-alongs every single day on this channel, and I don't watch women's football. I've got a level with you, mate. I'm not a dinosaur. I called myself a dinosaur earlier, but I haven't watched women's football. I watched a little bit of the Euros a few years ago and they won it, and that was it. I've not really watched a lot of women's football. But I am going to be doing the women's Euros next month. We'll be doing a bit of that along with pre-season and stuff like that. We've got the World Cup qualifiers, the men's. We've got the Men's Nations League. We've got the FIFA Club World Cup. We've got loads of footy coming on this channel over the next month. And to be honest, this was the first opportunity to see whether or not England's women go through to the next round of the Nations League and see how they stack up going into the Euros next month. Josh, I just feel it's a different game completely. Mate, I understand and I agree with you. It's certainly... but different doesn't mean anything. Like I say, the tennis comparison is always the one that I seem to go to because it makes more sense in that Venus and Serena Williams and Anna Kournikova going back a bit further, all these great tennis players in the women's game. Some people really prefer watching women's tennis. A lot of people actually prefer watching women's tennis because it's longer rallies, it's a lot more technical, and the men's game is a lot different in that it's mainly more about the power, the serve, shorter rallies. It is very different. There's nuances in that same way in terms of men's football and women's football. I've seen that already. You can see it already. It is a slightly different pace. But it's again, I mean, there's the same sort of issues facing the women's game as there is the men's. There doesn't feel like an awful lot of attacking threat. We've talked about the men's game and how bad that's been in recent years in terms of pass. The women's game's getting a little bit like that. I don't know if Pep Guardiola's influence has spread not only to the Premier League and the lower leagues and grassroots football in England, but it's also spread to the women's game. It feels like what I'm seeing so far, there's not a lot of get it forward, direct football. Not a lot of passing between the lines either. It's quite slow and steady. Bobby LFC, favourite Liverpool kit and player. Liverpool kit, probably the green one in 1990. I think it was 97 or 98, with the blue and white stripe across it. Love that. And probably Gerrard. Yeah, I'll always go to Gerrard. Ethan, I'm enjoying Finland because my girlfriend is on international duty. You're in Finland right now, mate. Nice. Love it. Right, half-time. Spain 0, England 1. There you go. The goal's a controversial one. The goal is definitely a controversial one. Paraluelo on the right-hand side. Little Cruyff turn. It was kind of she had a leg swept from underneath her, but it was a bit soft. I don't think you're going to get a foul for that. England carry on. The ref doesn't blow the whistle. England carry on. Knocks the ball long up the touchline. And from the potential foul, within 30 seconds, the ball's in the net. Russo sticks it in the bottom corner. Really, really good finish. One of them were running through, clean on goal. Bottom left-hand side, and just opens her body up inside of the foot, right into the far corner. Really, really lovely finish. Right, so let's have a little look and see what the latest is. Let's have a little look at the latest in the football world. What have we missed at half-time? Oster, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be more of a problem next season, Arsenal or City? City. I think City are a better team, mate. I do think City are a better team. I think Arsenal are overperforming, City are underperforming, and they have been. And look at actually how close they actually finished in terms of points totals. I don't think City are miles behind Arsenal at all. I think Arsenal are if anything, I think Arsenal are overperforming. I'll just stay with that. I think Arsenal are overperforming, and I think they need an awful lot of work this summer, especially if they get rid of Partey. If they get rid of Partey, Zubimendi I don't think is an adequate replacement. I don't know what they're going to do with the centre-forward position. I don't think Martinelli's good enough, and I think he's proven that across a full season. I don't think Martinelli really moves the needle for them. And I think they need at least one more in midfield. So, yeah, they need a striker, and a really good striker as well that makes the difference. I don't think Sesko does. I don't think Gyökeres does. I would honestly be more concerned if Arsenal went out and signed Ollie Watkins. If they go and get a ready-made centre-forward that can score now, Ollie Watkins is that striker. Or Isak. Obviously, Isak's less likely. But if they went and got Ollie Watkins, he's gettable. He wants to go to Arsenal. I think that would be the move that would most concern me as a Liverpool fan. Ostermorg, Rodri's back as well. Yeah, Rodri's back as well. Seb, good to see you, Seb. I think Rodri being back's a big thing, but maybe not as much as De Bruyne going is going to be tough for City. That's going to be the other thing. I think Liverpool win the league next season just because I think City and Arsenal are in different stages of their rebuild, and Arsenal I don't think are as good as Liverpool. Bottom line, I just don't think they are. Josh, hello mate, good to see you. How you doing, Josh? We're at half-time here at the Espanyol Stadium in Spain. Spain 0, England 1. Exactly the sort of result that England women were hoping for in this one. England get a win, then they go through as group winners, and they go through to the next round in the Europa Nations League. Josh, I'm okay. Liam Manning has left us now to join Norwich. Yeah, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? And who would you replace him with, more importantly? Okay, so Al Nassr are set to approach Liverpool over Luis Diaz. £85 million. Wow. 85 million. Okay. Ollie Henderson, Sancho back to United will be interesting. Feel like he would suit the right AM role they play. I don't think for 1 second Sancho gets another go at United. Hasn't he already said that he's not going back to United? Sancho, Manchester United. Hasn't he already said? I'm sure he said I'm not going. There's talk of Man United terminating his contract, you know. There's talk of United terminating his contract. I can't believe that. Manchester United they've received £5 million from Chelsea just to send him back, which tells you the position that they're in. Chelsea don't want to pay his wages. And Man United, you know, they paid £80 million for this kid. I don't think they're going to get anything meaningful back because of the wages that he's on, partially, but also because he's just not that good of a player. So There's a bargain. There is a bargain to be had there with Jadon Sancho, isn't there? For someone, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe a team lower down the Premier League, could they take a look at Jadon Sancho? Maybe a Villa. Maybe a Villa could look at him and go, do you know what? We can get the best out of him. Because United are just desperate to get him off the books. If you went and got Jadon Sancho for 20 million quid this summer, that's a good deal. He's still young, isn't he? 24, 25 years old. If you'd have said a few years ago when Sancho went there for whatever it was, 80 million quid, you'll be able to buy him in 3 years' time for 20 million quid. And United would be glad of that. Some going. Josh, bit upset as we did better than Norwich, but you don't know what goes on behind the scenes. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Again, maybe it's just project, maybe it's geography, maybe sometimes he wants to move. Maybe you want to move over to the other side of the country, closer to London or whatever with his family. You never know. You never know what it is. Maybe it's just cash as well. Better project at Norwich, you never know. Ronnie, we get Mbeumo, Sancho won't get a sniff. I don't think Mbeumo goes to United. Now Fernandes has signed, Fernandes has snubbed Saudi, I don't think for 1 second that United go and get Mbeumo. Cunha, Fernandes, Mbeumo, Mount, Ahmad. Where do they fit in all these? Xerxes, where do they fit in all these in? They aren't going to be able to. There's something about that tells me United are going to kibosh that Mbeumo deal. I don't think 50 million quid makes sense for Bryan Mbeumo. If Bruno Fernandes has gone. If Bruno Fernandes hasn't gone, Bryan Mbeumo isn't absolutely going anywhere near United. I'd be surprised if they sign him. Ronnie Dodge, West Ham could look at him. Yeah, maybe, yeah. Adam Gretton, a team lower down the table, then states Villa. Well, Villa are though, aren't they? Villa are not the team they're not as big a club as United. They're a club that aren't in the Champions League. They're like Chelsea, for example. Chelsea were in the Champions League. Chelsea are above Villa. So yes, that's exactly right. Chelsea finished above Villa. And they're not as big a club as United or Chelsea. So, to each their own. Josh, he is from Norwich, so it does make sense. And we're looking at Rob Edwards, apparently. Rob Edwards, back in the game. He had a good season at Luton. All kind of fell apart, but I like Rob Edwards. Zachman133, what is your top 5 Ballon d'Or? Top 5? Probably maybe 5th Mbappe. No, actually, maybe 5th. I don't know. Maybe 5th Bastoni or someone like that. Bastoni had a really good season. I mean, you can't win anything. You can't be in the Ballon d'Or. But what about Doué? Maybe Doué. Doué? Yeah, Doué 5th. Doué 5th. 4th. Rafinha. 3rd, Yamal. 2nd, Dembele. Or third Dembele. 2nd, Yamal. 1st, Salah. That would be my prediction. David Tudor, what score is it? It is 1-0 to England women. Yeah, it's Spain 0, England 1. And they are currently going through top as it stands and into the next round of the Nations League. Zachman, that's a great pick. I just can't see anyone other than Salah winning it. I don't think anyone other than Salah deserves to win it, if I'm really honest with you, mate. Can't see anyone other than Salah really taking it. Jaden, oi, how's it going, Jaden? Good to see you, man. Scouse House, you watching the women, Key? I am, mate, yes, I am. You know it. We love the footy. We just love the footy, mate. We love the footy on this channel, so we're live every day with footy. In whatever way, shape or form that represents. Pablo, so Van Dijk, Pedri, Vitinha are all worse than Doué. No, because that's not how the Ballon d'Or is picked, is it? It's not about quality of player. It's about the standard of their season. So, has Van Dijk had a better season than Doué? I don't know if he has. No, Van Dijk's a better player. If you ask me, I can only have one of these two in my team, Van Dijk or Doué. I'm picking Van Dijk. But, of course, Van Dijk, I don't know if he's had a better season than Doué. It's not about quality of player. No, it's not about quality of player. I don't think Yamal is the second best player in the world, by the way, but I think he would get second in the Ballon d'Or rating. So it's based on a few things, really, but it's about the... This is why the Ballon d'Or's lost credibility. It's never had credibility. When is the last time Ballon d'Or had credibility? The Ballon d'Or is a marketing pick. It's picked by journalists in France. It's not even... There's votes, of course there's votes, but it's totally and utterly rigged in one way, shape or form every single time. There's no way that it's the best player in the world. It's not. And you can go back for a long time for that. It's not about that. Zach Mann, I see him winning it as well because he's got the Premier League player and Golden Boots. And he's also, the thing with that as well, Zach Mann, is he's been doing it for a very, very long time, hasn't he, Salah? It's like 10 years Salah's been doing it. Do you have a Twitch or... Yeah, we're live on Twitch now, mate. We're live on Twitch right now. We're on... I'm on Twitch, X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. YouTube, slightly different view. Obviously, TikTok, you get this view. YouTube, you get a professional camera and professional audio, and you get a scoreboard and goal animations and all that sort of stuff. It's a bit better on YouTube. Many people will start on TikTok and gravitate over to YouTube. So, yeah, whatever you think's best, mate. Ronan, we are playing Spain now. Yes, we are playing Spain now. Yeah, it's 1-0. 1-0 to England. Michael, Kieran, I heard a strong rumour that Dortmund will come in for Sancho, where he played his best football alongside Bellingham and Haaland. Again, I think that, yeah, he produced his best stuff there. He's been back there, hasn't he, on loan, and he's started playing really well again. So, yeah, I think maybe there is a place in the Bundesliga again for Sancho. Maybe at Dortmund. That's probably not a bad shout. Substub, is that bias or facts? What about Salah? No, it is fact. What, that he's been doing it for like 10 years? It is true, yeah. He's been doing it for, his time at Roma and even Fiorentina. He was fantastic. And then he's been doing it at Liverpool for at least like 8 years or whatever it's been. So, yeah, he's... I think Salah's had a record of 10 years of solid performance at the very highest level. He's been unlucky not to win it in previous years, I think. So, I think there's a real opportunity there for Salah to win it this year, definitely. Michael, it seems at Man United a number of players have issues at the club, like Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, Ronaldo. Certainly not all is well at Man United. That's as eloquent as ever, Michael, but that might be the understatement of the year. All is not well at Man United. Yeah, very toxic club, isn't it? And good players go there and fail, and bad players go there and become even worse than we ever thought they'd be. It's just not a good place for the fans. It's not a good place for the manager. It's not a good place for anyone. Yeah. But there you go. As you can see, England top the group currently, 13 points. Spain on 12. Belgium on 6. Portugal on 4 at the bottom. But, yeah, England, as it stands, going through as group winners. Pablo, Messi winning it over Van Dijk in 2019 is when I realised it meant nothing. I mean, go back to the early 2000s, mate. Nedved winning it over Thierry Henry was another one. A lot of people couldn't believe that. Thierry Henry in his prime at Arsenal, Pavel Nedved won it over him. 2006, 2007, whenever it was, Cannavaro winning the World Cup for Italy. Now, Cannavaro was a very good defender, don't get me wrong, but Cannavaro, he wasn't anywhere near as good at that time as maybe your Ronaldinho's and whatever. There's just not. But then again, look, I think you'd like to see defenders win it sometime, wouldn't you? You'd like to see defenders win it sometime. Cannavaro won it, and he's the last defender to have won the Ballon d'Or. Rodri got it last year. He was good, but so was other players. I have a feeling it'll go to a PSG player. I don't think so. I don't think it goes to a PSG player. Just because they've won the treble this year. They've won the treble this year, but 2 of the trophies are absolutely like Sunday League, basically. Like if they don't win it, must be, Spain have missed a sitter. Spain have missed a sitter 20 seconds into the first half here. It's Paraluelo again. She really needs to score that one. Paraluelo running in at the far post. Really, really poor. On a right foot as well. It's a great ball from the left, that. Straight across the face of goal. England full-back, committed. And, yeah, England goalie wouldn't have got anywhere near that if it was on target. Owen Brown, who are you watching? We are watching the England women against the Spanish women in the UEFA Euro Nations League, mate. Nedved played in a harder league and won more. Yeah, nah, I don't think he did. Nedved was a very, very surprise choice to win the Ballon d'Or. And again, no doubt, he was a good player. He was a good player, Pavel Nedved, but he wasn't a Ballon d'Or winner. I mean, evidently he was, but you know what I mean. I don't think he was ever likely to be awarded World Player of the Year or whatever. He won it after Juventus finished the runners-up in the Champions League as well. Juventus were this close to a treble. Oh no, actually not a treble. It would have just been a double, wouldn't it? Because they won the Serie A that year. Spain down the left-hand side here. Floated in. Chance. Oh, unlucky again. It's Esther. Claim for the penalty again. You're not going to get it. You're not going to get it this time. Jaden, why aren't England men in the Nations League knockout? They came first in the group. Zach, how's it going, Zach? Good to see you. I don't know why England men aren't in the Nations League knockout, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know why that is, actually. Why aren't we? Did we finish top of the Nations League group? Michael, Kieran, what are your plans for next season? Presumably you'll be covering Premier League, European and international matches. Will you be covering lower league matches in European leagues? 100,000,000% we will be, yes. My plan for next season, Michael, is to continue with the plan as you've arrived at the channel, as you found the channel in May or end of April, start of May, whenever it was you landed on Premier League Dad. We watch all the leagues, and I'm planning to do 2, 3, sometimes 4 games a day, every day for as long as possible. And certainly once the season starts, you know, we've watched the Icelandic League on this channel. We're watching the Women's League too. We're watching the Bundesliga, the Serie A, SPL. We watch the Premier League, the Champions League, all the big European games, the international games. We will watch anyone on this channel, and I'm happy for people to get involved and tell me what games they want to watch. By the way, as well, I'm happy to do that. If people want to, you know, make the choice, maybe do polls in future. Maybe that's what's next. Maybe it's you choose what game we do. So yeah, I'm absolutely going to be watching lower leagues, but probably the prime focus will continue to be the Premier League. Yes. Zach, what is your hot take on the Champions League final? My hot take on the Champions League final. Do you know what it is? And it's not. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I always knew that PSG would batter them. And I said it before the game. If you go back, you can see people were saying, "Oh, I think Inter have got this." You know, I think it's going to be a tight game, and you know, you kind of fool yourself and trick yourself into thinking, well, yeah, it's a Champions League final. Yeah, you know, Inter, they played well in a few games, and yeah, you know, they did really well against Barca, so maybe they'll make a game of it. I had PSG to win like 3-1, I think it was the prediction I gave before the game, but I had them to win quite comfortably. Like, I don't think it'll even be a remotely tough game for PSG. I think they'll batter these. I didn't think they'd win 5-0, like, but I knew that it'd be a comfortable win. Sinninger, which Icelandic game? We watched Fram against Valur last night. Yeah, Valur against Fram in the Besta Deild Kala. We watched a little bit of everything. Yeah, we watch all sorts on this channel. So the aim being that we watch at least one football match every single day, and we're on a streak at the moment. So if you want to stick with us, go and check us out on Premier League Dad. Go and search on YouTube Premier League Dad. We do one live watch along at least every single day. Some days 2, 3, 4, especially on a weekend where there's loads of footy. But yeah, on a weekend where there's lots of footy, we play. We watch lots of footy. Yo-ho, ready or not, I've got the 25-26 season on my mind. Nice. Sad exit for Inzaghi. Do you know what? That's what frustrated me as well with that. Inzaghi, in PS, how much were Inter down at half-time? Was it 2-0 at half-time? They were 2-0 down at half-time, weren't they? And Inzaghi was walking down the steps back out onto the pitch, coming out the tunnel. He was walking down. He took his jacket off, he'd undone his shirt and his collar, he was looking very relaxed. And he was chatting to the Inter Milan, the Barcelona, PSG assistant manager, right? He was talking away to the assistant manager of PSG and laughing and joking, right? And he had his jacket, his blazer jacket just hanging over his shirt like that. And I was a bit like, if my manager... If we were 2-0 down in the Champions League final, my manager comes out for the second half looking like that, I'm not happy. And there was rumours that he'd agreed a deal to go to Saudi well over 2 weeks ago. I don't like that. And I don't think Inter fans would have liked that. So we say disappointing exit for Inzaghi. He's done well to get him where he got him, but actually ultimately they finished really poorly at the end of the season. They didn't win the Coppa Italia. They got battered by their rivals AC Milan. They threw away the Serie A Scudetto title at the end. Got beat by Bologna, by Roma in the final few weeks of the season. We watched a lot of them live. And then they get battered in the Champions League final, one of the worst defeats in Champions League history. So I think Inzaghi should be, I'm not going to say ashamed of himself, but Inzaghi, I'm sure he'll reproach himself a little bit for it. Christian Tangen, United to have a better transfer window than Arsenal, do you reckon? Well, do you know what? Actually, if we're talking about moving positions, then yes, I think United do have a better transfer window than Arsenal. Because I think what we'll see is United will move from wherever they finished, 15th, is it? They finished 15th? They'll move from about 15th to maybe about 9th or 10th. But they'll go up. They'll definitely be kind of on the fringes of the top half next season. Whereas Arsenal, I think the players they're signing, whether it be Sesko or Gyökeres and Zubamendi, they're losing Thomas Partey. I look at that and I think Arsenal aren't going to move up. I actually think Arsenal move down. I actually think Arsenal have probably finished 3rd or 4th next season. I think there's teams on their coattails, City being one of them, who are more likely to finish above them than anything. So, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about Arsenal. Abs, he's going to Al Hilal. It's done. Who's going to Al Hilal? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Inzaghi. Yes. Abs, Inter Milan's bottle this season is literally Liverpool 21-22 2.0. Ethan, time's kickoff. It's already kicked off, mate. It's live right now. We're 55 minutes into the game. One second. Michael, although England finished top of their Nations League group, England were playing at the league below top level, having been relegated 2 seasons ago. By finishing top, England are promoted to the top league. Thank you, Michael. I see. There you go. I wasn't aware of that. Michael educating us once again. Thank you, Michael. Zach, are you a Liverpool fan? And if so, are you happy with the signings that we got? Yes, I am a Liverpool fan, mate. I am 100%. Am I happy with the signings we've got? I am. They're not the signings that I would have gone for. Frimpong, Kerkez seems likely. Wirtz seems like that's done. So Kerkez, Wirtz, Frimpong, they aren't the 3 players that I would have gone for, but I am excited. Yes, of course I'm excited. You're always excited when new players come to the club. There's always that buzz when you get a new signing. Florian Wirtz is a wonderful player. He's the closest I've seen to Philip Coutinho. And the only doubt with Florian Wirtz, by the way, is the transfer fee. That's it. Can he justify the transfer fee? I think he'll be a terrific player. I have no doubt at all that he'll be a terrific player, and it's just whether or not you look at him in maybe 2-3 years and think, a bit like Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez I really like, but we paid 70 million quid for him. And we'll probably sell him for maybe 60, 70 million quid, and we'll get our money back, but and he'll have won pretty much, everything at Liverpool. He's done well, but yeah, you just think maybe that wasn't worth the 70 million quid. I don't know if we got full value for money there. Maybe Wirtz will look like a snip. He might look like a bargain in a few years. I think Declan Rice at £100 million. Declan Rice looks like a bargain. So, we'll see. We'll see. Michael, hence England can't play in the semi-finals of the Euro Nations League as they were not in A-League but B-League. Now they're promoted to the A-League, finishing ahead of Greece to the top right. Okay. Michael, I couldn't believe that Man United were the 5th lowest scoring team in the Premier League. No wonder they've signed Cunha and going for Mbeumo. Well, do you think, Michael, based on what you've seen so far, do you think they sign Mbeumo and keep Bruno Fernandes? Do we seriously think that Bruno Fernandes stays and Mbeumo joins as well? I don't see how they fit all of them in. I think Mbeumo was coming in on the basis that Fernandes went. And now Fernandes isn't going. I don't really see him going for Mbeumo. I think that's it. I think that unless they go out and get a centre-forward, they might go and get a centre-forward now, but not Mbeumo. Can't see him getting Mbeumo. Zach, let's go, bro. Same here, same. I just wish that we could have given Conor Bradley a better chance, more playing time to prove that he's a good player. I think Conor Bradley still gets a good chance, Yeah, I think we see Frimpong might end up playing a little bit further forward as well. But I think Bradley, even if he doesn't, I think Bradley does get a lot of chances next season. Look, we had Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I would argue he's the best right back in the world. Conor Bradley still got quite a lot of games, didn't he? He's still a young man, Conor Bradley. You got to remember, he's still only 21, is he? Captain of the Northern Irish national team. So very good player. He's just signed a new contract. There's time for him yet. There's time. Partey is signing at Arsenal. Well, apparently not, Abs. Apparently Partey is negotiating with Barcelona at the minute. Up the Saints, Brackley Town. Good to see you, mate. Lucas Lambert, what are we watching, bro? We are watching Spain against England in the Nations League. Emiliano, will you watch Palace versus Atletico in the Club World Cup? Yes, Emiliano. You might have seen, maybe not. I'm guessing not. If you go to my YouTube channel, if you go to Premier League Dad, you'll see the full schedule that we've got coming up. Every single game that we're live for pretty much 2 games a day over the next month. There's loads of football coming up, including all the Club World Cup, including all the FIFA World Cup games, the Nations League games, the Under-21 European Championships. That one's going to be massive. Loads of great young players around. That'll be like a scouting mission. We'll do us a bit of a scouting mission. OP30, do you know a lot about Tranmere Rovers? I don't know a lot about Tranmere Rovers, but I do know a fair bit about Tranmere Rovers. I used to go and watch Tranmere Rovers when they played. When they played in the pre-season, when Mickey Mellon, I know, we used to watch a little bit of Mickey Mellon's Tranmere teams as well on the telly whenever they were on. But I used to go and watch them. I used to go and watch Tranmere a little bit as well. And we have got a Tranmere Rovers fan who comes into the channel quite a bit. But I'm trying to think of what the frigging thing was now. But yeah, I've watched a little bit of Tranmere. A little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. Enough that I can have a conversation with you. Finlay, people acting like Verk's deal off when it was just a rejected bid. Mate, it was just... Oh, Spain have scored. It's 1-1. That's bad news for England. That's very bad news. There you go, 1-1. Who was it who scored it? Is it Bonmati? Looks like Bonmati. Or is it Esther? Let's just see it back. 1 second. No, it is. It's Esther. No, it's not Esther. Who's the camera? The camera's panning to... It's pointing to Aitana, and then it's pointing to... Maybe Pina. I don't know. It's clear. It's a ball in from the left-hand side. It's cleared away to the edge of the box. Wonderful little dribble. Ah, do you know what? I think the keeper should do a little bit better there. Low down, left-hand side. Oh, I think... I don't know if we're being a bit too harsh there. I think she'd look back on that and say she's got to save it. Yeah, it's pretty poor from the keeper, that. Not great. That's a howler from Hampton, says Ronnie Dodge. Yeah, I think she'll say it's Pina who scored, but I'm sure she'll look back on that and think she could have done a little bit better. That wasn't great. Abs Leverkusen rejected 2 bids. We need to pay the 150. No, we don't. No, we don't. Listen, Wirtz is done. It's done, mate. It's not. We won't pay the 150. Pay and don't speak. No. That's not how you're working for. That's how you do on FIFA. That's a FIFA career mode decision. Jesse, how you doing, Jesse? Good to see you. Lucas Lambert, are you watching Spain tomorrow so we can see Wirtz? Yes, we are. We're going to be doing... it's not Spain tomorrow, it's Germany-Portugal, mate. Germany-Portugal tomorrow. So we will be watching Germany-Portugal tomorrow, and then we'll be doing France-Spain the day after. Emiliano, I don't know why, but I'm excited for Palmeiras versus Al Ahly. Yeah. Well, look, we'll be doing all of them. There's lots of... the only ones we won't be doing are the ones that are on at like 2 a.m. Lucas Lambert, when do England play? What are you on about? England are playing now. If you're on about England men's play on the... is it the 7th? Saturday we play against Andorra. I think it's Andorra on Saturday, yeah. Abs, how much are you willing to pay for Florian Wirtz? Well, I mean, evidently Liverpool have got their line in the sand, and I think it's like 130 million. Leverkusen are looking for a little bit closer to 150. There'll be somewhere met in the middle. It's very, very simple deal to do. But obviously there's complexities in terms of how the deal is structured. Sometimes you have to pay over the full length of a player's contract. Sometimes Leverkusen will say, all right, fine, well, listen, we'll accept a lesser amount. You know, we wanted 150, you're saying 130, fine, we'll accept 130, but we want it paid over 2 years or 3 years instead of 5 years. We want a bigger chunk of money up front. There's all these different factors to work in, and then, Liverpool are saying, well, okay, well, we'll give you an extra bit of money when he wins the Ballon d'Or. And Leverkusen will say, well, he might never win the Ballon d'Or, so that's not very likely. What if we get you an extra bit of money when he plays 10 Premier League games? Liverpool are like, nah, come on, it's got to be 100 Premier League games. All these different factors, they've got to be a full negotiation on it. It'll drag out, it'll take its time, but it'll get done. It gets done. It's so early in the window. There's no panic over it. No panic at all. Abs, I would pay 85. The German league is poor. The German league is poor? I don't know how you'd say the German league is poor. The Bundesliga has produced some of the best football this season. And not only that, Germany's national team is possibly one of the best out there. It's one of the favourites to win the World Cup. And, you look at Bayern Munich and what they've done over the course of the season. Eintracht Frankfurt, they've been a really, really solid team over there as well. Dortmund got to the Champions League final just a couple of years ago. I don't think there's many teams who'd want to play Bayern Munich. It's a good league. The Bundesliga is a very good league. And there's a lot of good players who've come from the Premier League to the Premier League from the Bundesliga, having done very well over there. You look at your De Bruyne's, your Firminos, there's a lot of good players who've come from the Bundesliga. Sammy, England winning. No, they're not. It's 1-1. Spain won, England won. Goalkeeper's down, injured here. Hampton might have to come off. I wonder if that's an issue then, because, obviously it's an issue. She's got to go off. Or at least she's getting some treatment. But, no, the gloves are off. The gloves are coming off. But the decision to the save, the attempt to save that was poor from the keeper. I thought it was pretty poor. Michael, Man United will have to sell other players like Rashford, Højlund, Sancho, and other fringe players that haven't worked out to recoup money, and that way keep Bruno and sign Mbeumo. I don't even think it's just money though, Michael. I think they do need to do it from a financial perspective, but I can't see him getting Mbeumo. They can't fit them all in. How can they fit Cunha, Mbeumo, Bruno Fernandes, Ahmad? You know, these are 4 players you'll expect to play quite regularly, and even just host that front 3. It would have to end up being United playing with some sort of a false 9 system, and it's not really Amarim's system, that. Ethan, you linking women's football? Linking? Am I linking women's football? I don't know what that means, Ethan. Lucas Lambert, is it true that Wirtz has said yes to Liverpool, but it's just that the club hasn't agreed? Yes, Wirtz has said yes to Liverpool. It is literally just that. They're just the 2 clubs are just waiting to agree a deal. That's all. It'll take a few days, but it'll get done. Ronnie Dodge, Ten Hag is now at Leverkusen. Yes, yeah, Leverkusen he is, and a good manager he is. Oh, am I liking women's football? Yeah, it's different. It is different. I thought it would be different. It is different. Like I say, it's a little bit slower. In many ways similar to the men's game, but it is definitely slower. I'm still puzzled by that referee's decision not to give the handball in the first half, though, if I'm really honest. It's a poor switch. Straight out of play from England. Abs, Ten Hag and Alonso will last 5 minutes in their new jobs. But you're a bundle of sunshine, aren't you, Abs? Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Roddy, I think Ahmad will play right wing back. I don't understand why he'd play right wing back, though. He's not a defensive player at all. I can't see Ahmad playing right wing back. Michael, in the women's game, the players get far more ACL injuries given the way their bodies are structured compared to the men's. That is one thing being said compared to the men's game. Yes, I've heard about that. Yeah, I've heard about that. That there's a tendency to get more impactful knee injuries, things like that, due to the sustained running, sharp turning, all that sort of thing. So that might explain maybe part of the reason why it's a slower game. I don't know, but yeah, that makes sense. But it's there's certainly been some. Again, I'm not talking about it in it sounds like it's coming across like head patting, like a patronising way. There's been some quality. There has been some quality. It's not like the trolls coming on and saying it's Sunday League or whatever. I mean, that was really poor from England. That was really, really poor. The ball just rolled under her foot and it goes into Esther, I think. It was a ball in from Aitana Bonmati and it comes through. Who's the centre-back there? She gets it all wrong. She'd have been offside anyway, Esther. It wouldn't have counted. But that's really poor from the centre-back and puts England in it. There has been a few howlers in this game. I'll say that. There's definitely been a few howlers in this game. A few defensive lapses from England. Spain keep pushing forward. Ronnie Dodge, he's got most of his goals from wing-back, to be honest. I'm not sure I agree with that. Spain are in again and they've scored. There you go. 2-1 Spain. This has turned around very, very quickly. England making lots of mistakes at the back. Lots and lots of mistakes at the back for England. And again, we're looking at the keeper. The camera focuses, it pans onto Hampton again. Hannah Hampton. All the talk on the before the game was about Hannah Hampton, and as Michael said, the fact that Earps had stepped down and Hampton had come in, it's not great. Shot from the edge of the area. I mean, that's a great goal. That is a great goal. There's nothing wrong with the keeper there. You're not saving that. That's just wonderful. It's a wonderful strike from the edge of the box. Is it Pena again? I think it's Pena again. 2 great goals. Again, look, and I said the word dinosaur, didn't I, before the game? Dinosaur. It isn't Pena. I said the word dinosaur before the... No, it is Pena. I thought it was. She scored 2. I said the word dinosaur before the game about, blokes who... you watching the women's game? You watching the women's game? That's a quality goal. That is a really good goal. Whether you're a man, woman, doesn't matter. That's a quality finish. Opened the body up, outside of the box, smashed it in off the post. Great goal. Really, really good goal. There's definitely been some errors in this game, don't get me wrong, but it's been enjoyable to watch. I am still baffled. The one thing that's going to stick with me in this game is the referee not giving that handball decision. I've not got the commentary on. I've not got the punditry on. I don't know what maybe Serena Wiegman's going to say about it after the game. But England have got away with one a number of times, to be honest, in this game. But that one, they should have been a penalty, and England should have been a goal down in that one. CJ Vert's calling out journalists. Ronnie Dodge, we've got a new left wing back coming in from Paraguay. He's joining the under-21s. Right, okay. Abs, Alonso bottles the Liverpool job, and Ten Hag got beat by Spurs in the semi-final. I don't think that means anything though, mate. Litigation could have got for England-Spain, half-time, full-time, but can't back against our girls. Ash is out on 2 bets as soon as England scored. Oh, cashed out, right, nice. Michael, England being the defending champions are in a hell of a tough draw in their group matches to the Euros, having France, Netherlands and Wales, the potential wiping team. Well, we're going to be doing the Women's Euros. We'll watch quite a bit of it, yeah, while it's on in July, for sure. Switzerland 2025. Aitana, such a baller, says Abs. Yeah, absolutely. Andrew King, good to see you, Andrew. Ronnie, I like Murray. Gutty she retired, was decent for the United women's team before going to PSG. Abs, would you rather have Liverpool men's team win the treble or the ladies' team win the treble? I mean, that's a silly question. That is a silly question. Josh Wardle, 74, Spain, England. Yeah, Spain or England, that's what's on. It's on right now. It's on ITV1 if you want to check it out. Spain are 2-1 up. The answer is Liverpool's men's team winning the treble, yeah. Ronnie Dodge, what English teams will struggle in the Champions League next season? Spurs and Newcastle, I think. I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. Spurs and Newcastle, almost certainly. I think Chelsea probably will as well. I'm just amazed when I keep seeing Chelsea being linked to wingers. Baffling. A100, have you seen David Coote has become a delivery man for every... Yes, I have. I feel a little bit sorry for him, I feel a little bit sorry for David Coote. Do you? Like, the guy's made a mistake. He made several mistakes. But, yeah, I think it's a little bit harsh to see his career just falling apart the way it has. Josh Wardle, Newcastle will thrive. I don't think they will. I think that Newcastle are a good 5 or 6 players off competing seriously in the Champions League. And also sustaining it in the Prem. They need quite a bit of work, Newcastle. I don't think they're as good as Aston Villa. And Villa managed to do really well in the Champions League but fell off in the Prem. And Newcastle, when they last went in the Champions League, they qualified for the Champions League. They did all right in the Champions League, maybe not as well as Villa, but they did all right in it, and then they fell away in the Prem. So it'll be the same sort of thing. I think Villa will benefit, and I think Villa will be a real threat in the top 5 next season. Newcastle, I think I would predict they're going to drop out of the top 5 next season. Yeah, I think Newcastle will drop out of the top 5 next season. Ronnie, the human side of me does feel sorry for him. Abs, the longer version of the Champions League suits the English teams. Why do you think that? Why do you think it suits the English teams? I don't disagree with you. I'm just intrigued by why you think that. Jack the Butter Boy, England totally fell off. Yeah, it's been a bad second half from England, hasn't it, really? It's been a poor second half. Abs, Newcastle was in the old version of the Champions League. You cannot say that. Why not? Why not? I don't think it makes that much of a difference, to be honest. Like I said, I think Newcastle might do all right in the Champions League this season. I do think they'll do okay in the Champions League. I just don't think they'll be able to do that and do what they did this year in the Premier League. They'll struggle in the Premier League because they haven't got the squad size for it. Beyond the midfield three, the midfield's pretty poor. I think they're pretty poor in the full-back areas. Lewis Hall's and Livramento have been quite good. I think the centre-back areas, both, pretty much, unless they've got Botman fit, the centre-backs are not brilliant. The goalkeeper's not a Champions League goalkeeper. Harvey Barnes, Josh Murphy, these aren't Champions League players. So, look, Isak aside, Bruno, Joe Linton, Tonali, Gordon, they need a lot of work. Yeah, I think Spurs are better prepared. Funnily enough, I think Spurs have a squad that's better than Newcastle's, I would say. I know that's an outrageous thing to say, but I really do think Spurs, if I could swap, if you offered me now and you said you can have Spurs squad or Newcastle squad, Liverpool's squad's going to get wiped. You get Newcastle squad or Spurs, I'd take Spurs every single day of the week. Every single day of the week. Jack the Butter Boy, how far do you think Newcastle will go in the Champions League? I think they'll get to the next round, maybe. Yeah, they could finish in the top 8. There's a chance of that. Because they'll prioritise the Champions League, won't they? But that's the next... Success for Newcastle next season is 5th and doing what... Basically having the season that Villa have just had, but finishing 5th. That is success for Newcastle. To sustain qualifying for the Champions League in successive years. What they can't do is qualify for the Champions League and fall out of it again. That's going to be the thing that's going to be difficult for club and for the fans. Sub, come on England. They don't look like they've got anything left in the tank, mate. They look knackered, to be honest. Really tired. Michael, I thought Liverpool were going to sign Isak as Newcastle were under pressure to sell a couple of their top players. But it's all gone quiet on that front. That was the case, I think, a couple of seasons ago. I think if Newcastle hadn't got Champions League football, I'm almost certain that Isak would have left. But yeah, as they did, then he's not going to. So yeah, I think that would have put a little bit of pressure on him, Michael. Absolutely, it would have done. Jack, I think Newcastle will get to the Champions League final and finish bottom half of the league. Okay. Jack the Butter Boy, apparently Liverpool wants Isak. Yeah, I'm sure lots of clubs will want Isak. He's a very good striker. But yeah, he's going to stop at Newcastle, I think, for at least one more season. Ronnie Dodge, PSG will batter Spurs in the Super Cup. Oh, aye, absolutely they will. Jack, I think Newcastle will get to the Champions League final. Wow, that's big talk from a Borough boy as well. A Borough fan. Wow. How do you think Borough get on next year? Important question. Gosport Borough. Oh, Gosport Borough. All right, okay. Sorry, mate. You can see where I went wrong with it. Caleb, no chance Newcastle get to the final. Chelsea have a better chance. They're a bigger club. I know what bigger club doesn't always mean that you get to the final. Barca are a bigger club than Inter. They didn't get to the final, did they? Doesn't matter, Caleb. Size of the club doesn't matter. Lucas Lambert, this better not be like the Euros final. Well, the game's kind of petering out. They're in the last 10 minutes here. And it's not been a particularly enjoyable last 30 minutes for the England women. The Lionesses have struggled since Spain got the equaliser. You can see they've been on the back foot. They seem to be coming back into it a little bit more in the last couple of minutes. Some sharp moves down the right-hand side, but it's Spain are just passing it around them. It's been relatively comfortable for Spain, I think. Abs, the Champions League is wide open with the new version. Bet you Liverpool fans loved the PSG draw. Well, exactly, yeah, we didn't. It was that's the thing. We immediately had to play the best team in the competition, or maybe the second best team in the competition, having finished top comfortably. So it does change things, doesn't it? It does change things. Ronnie Dodge, it's funny. United's first pre-season game is against Leeds. Ian Youngcop, have you seen Vert's Instagram story? I have, yes, I have. Emiliano, do you think teams like Paris or Bayern will give 100% in the Club World Cup? Well, yeah, why wouldn't they? There's big money. There's big money riding on it, mate. Very big money riding on it. Lucas Lambert, this better not be like the Euros final. Zach Burl, do you think that Wrexham FC is going to come to the Premier League in the next couple of years? There's a lot of investment at Wrexham. They need a bit of time. Esther's just come off here for Garcia. Esther's been the danger lady, the danger woman for Spain up front. But yes, I do think Wrexham will make it to the Premier League one day. They're certainly investing enough to get up, but I don't think they come up for maybe a couple of years. I think you're probably looking at another 3 to 5. Consolidating the Championship, that's going to be one of the big things for him. That's going to be a yellow card for England here. Poor tackle, really poor tackle from Kearns, the substitute. Caleb, I think San Marino win the World Cup personally. Abs, 100 million for the winners. Everybody is playing. Exactly. Ian Young, Wrexham should go for Vardy. Abs, Wrexham go back to back. Yeah, I was going to say, they've got promoted, they've done well, but I'm not entirely sure that we see Wrexham go straight, back to back all the way up to the Premier League. That's tough to do, very tough. Michael, there is no seeding in the new format in the Champions League, which is good because any team can be drawn against any other, apart from teams from their own association in the league stage. Yes, of course. Yeah, the Champions League draw is going to be interesting, isn't it? We'll do that. Looking forward to watching that one. Pina, I've got to say, Pina scored 2 goals of really, really high quality. And the second one in particular was a really, really good finish. But I do think you could look at the keeper. I think Hampton will be looking back on that first one and thinking, yeah, do you know what? I probably should have done a bit better there. Caleb, I think if Burnley get like a Tarkowski or someone like that, they've got a great chance of staying up. I think they've got a great chance of staying up anyway, mate. You've got to remember they had a great defence in the Championship, didn't they? He knows the Prem inside out. Yeah, he does. But again, he's Everton's best defender, really, isn't he, at the minute? Abs, Liverpool's best managers, Shanks, Klopp, Paisley. Wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. Yeah, there's some certainly 2 of those are right. Paul 97, who do you support? I'm a Liverpool fan, Paul, but we watch everyone on this channel. We watch everyone. We talk about everything. We generally just talk football. So yeah, we're watching. We do watch-alongs every single day. Every single day. Abs, Klopp rebuilt that club. Uh, well, I mean, we were in title races before Klopp came. Liverpool were a big club before Klopp arrived, so I wouldn't necessarily say like the job that Shanks did, the job that Paisley did is incomparable. I would argue that Gerard Houllier did a bigger job than Jurgen Klopp. You can compare the two. But Gerard Houllier certainly got Liverpool back on the map. Liverpool were finishing 7th, 8th pretty regularly before Gerard Houllier arrived. We were far behind Manchester United, and Gerard Houllier had us winning things and finishing above Manchester, the great Manchester United side, challenging the Arsenal Invincibles. Klopp did a great job too. You ain't Kloop. I don't know what that means, Abs. Michael, Burnley have lost one of their defenders to Strasbourg, and Trafford's likely to be heading to Newcastle. I can't see Trafford going to Newcastle, can he? Yeah, I don't think that. That was the case 12 months ago, but I'm not sure anymore. Houllier didn't win the Champions League. He won the UEFA Cup. No. He never. I never said he won the Champions League, but he did an awful lot more, I think, in terms of if you look at where Houllier arrived and what the club was like then, and you look at where Klopp arrived and where the club was like then. I think Houllier did a very, very similar job with a lot less resources. So I'm not going to argue that Houllier was a better manager than Klopp or anything like that, but I think the argument that Klopp is up there with Shanks and Paisley is fine, but Gerard Houllier did a very, very important job at Liverpool as well. He's often one that gets overlooked, I think, at Liverpool. Abs, dislike of Klopp. You Liverpool fans. You mean dislike of Klopp? How are you determining that to mean dislike of Klopp? I love Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's a wonderful manager. Liverpool are about winning league titles. Klopp done more. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. If you can just call it winning a league title, then yeah, obviously then it's Klopp, isn't it? But there's a lot of managers who won a lot less than Klopp as well. Caleb, I reckon James Trafford will be England's first keeper in the next 4 to 5 seasons. Maybe I think he could, if he really, really kicks on this season, I think he could have it before then. I think Jordan Pickford's not really hanging on to that goalkeeper jersey, is he? Right, final few minutes here. Final few minutes. Thanks, Zach, man. Abs, wow, I am sure most Liverpool fans would disagree with you. I don't know what you think I'm saying, though. I think you're completely misunderstanding me. You seem to think I'm saying that Jurgen Klopp is a terrible manager. I haven't said that. Caleb, I actually do think Ramsdale is better than Pickford. I think Pickford's very overrated. I wouldn't say he's... I think Ramsdale's not as good as him, though. I think Pickford's the right... If you've only got Ramsdale and Pickford, I think Pickford's the better keeper. But I think Henderson's had a great season. I'd be surprised if Dean Henderson didn't get a look in over Jordan Pickford. I'd also be surprised, yeah, as you say, if Trafford didn't get a look in over Jordan Pickford. Zach, man, what do you think about City getting Jurgen Klopp's assistant coach? I'm fine with it. Yeah, absolutely fine with it, mate. We didn't have an opportunity for him. We didn't have an assistant opportunity for him. So, What's he supposed to do? Stay out of work for the rest of his career? He's got to go and get work, hasn't he? He's got to go and get a job. So, yeah, I have no problem at all with him going to Manchester City. Doesn't upset me in the slightest. Good luck to him. Substub Pickford is absolutely rubbish. I hate that guy. I think he's one of England's most annoying players ever, isn't he? I also don't think he's... Yeah, if you're talking England goalkeepers, he's down there with one of the worst, I think, in the last 20, 30 years. I think we've had much better keepers in times that England haven't really won a lot. Like Nigel Martin, I think he's a much better keeper than Pickford will ever be. And he played for Everton as well, Nigel Martin, didn't he? Abs, in the 90s, Liverpool stayed with Roy Evans too long. Kenny was winning the title at Blackburn Rovers. Kenny should have had the job back. Well, I mean, some would argue Kenny didn't really want the job back, you know? Got to remember, Kenny didn't do a lot of managing between 1997 and 2012 or whenever it was he came back. You know, he didn't do a lot of managing. He was out the game for a good 10, 15 years. So he's it's not like we had Kenny was an absolute certainty to come in and make things better. Gerard Houllier did an unbelievable job at Liverpool, and yeah, like you don't quite appreciate how good he was at Newcastle and Celtic. Yeah, and when was his last job? He was out the game, mate. He was out the game for like 15 years, Kenny. Best part of 15 years, 13, 14 years, whatever it was. He was out the game for a very, very long time. He obviously didn't want to manage, and I'm sure there was opportunities for him. He didn't want to manage. Michael, one of the England women's players, Lauren James, not in the squad due to injury. Her brother Reece is at Chelsea. Yes, yeah, I know Lauren James. Yeah, she's on the cover of EA Sports FIFA game. James Trafford's a class keeper. If I was England manager, I'd put him first every day of the week. And after the World Cup, I reckon that'll be it for Pickford in England. Maybe, yeah. Abs, he wanted that job back. Read his... Well, yeah, you can say that now, can't he? You can say that now. There was opportunity. All right. Well, even if you said there was opportunities for him elsewhere, and he didn't take them, but he took the Newcastle job, he took the Blackburn job, he took the Celtic job. He obviously, if he either wanted to manage and didn't get opportunities, or did get opportunities and didn't want to manage. To have had 14 years out the game, you don't do that if you want to manage. And either way, if we could have got Kenny or Gerard Houllier, I'd have had Gerard Houllier every single day of the week, knowing what he did for the club. Liverpool Football Club needed Gerard Houllier at that time. We needed some modernisation, and he changed Liverpool Football Club for the better. Substub, when Dean Henderson was at United, that too should have been England number one. He should have been United's number one, shouldn't he, to be honest? He still should be. Michael, didn't Houllier have health problems during or after his stint at Liverpool? Yes, he did. Yeah, he had... he basically left the game, mid-game. It was against... I think it was against Leeds, wasn't it? He had a heart attack, basically, yeah, during the game. He had to go and have an operation on his heart. Why he come back when Roy Hodgson left? Yeah, after like 14 years again. Long time out. Spain are in again here. They could win it. I mean, they're already going to win it. 6 minutes of added on time. Caleb, I wish De Gea was England. He's a class shot stopper, one of the best at it. All the keeper needs to do. That's nonsense, Caleb. It's not all the keeper needs to do. That's why De Gea got sold. De Gea is not a class shot stopper. He makes a lot of mistakes. He's also pretty poor with his feet. You've got to remember that's why David De Gea is at Fiorentina now. He's not one of the best clubs in Europe. There was a time when David De Gea was sought after by Real Madrid and whatever. David De Gea has been pretty poor for many, many, many years now. Is he better than Onana? Yeah, I think he is better than Onana. The decision to let him go for free and go and get Onana for 50 million is one of the worst decisions in football, recent football history. But yeah, he's not. If David De Gea was English, he wouldn't have the number 1 jersey now. I think Pickford's better than David De Gea. I'd say that. Abs, because the club overlooked him, that felt Julio would be better than Wenger. Mistake. Julio won an awful lot. You gravely underestimate Gerard Julio. I can only assume. How old are you? How old are you? Because I can only assume you have no idea about that time. I can only assume you have no idea about that time, because Gerard Julio was, for me, was comparable to Arsene Wenger. He was a phenomenal manager. Phenomenal manager. And again, due to health problems, he finished a lot sooner than maybe he should have done. He was a wonderful manager for Liverpool. Great man as well. Top man. De Gea isn't a class shot stopper. He's not. Spain pushing forward. They're in with the last chance here, mate. Maybe to get the ball into the box. I don't think so. Scott, what does it mean if England women finish second? Nothing. It just means they don't go through to the next phase, I believe. I think that's it. Spain go through to the next round of the the knockout stage, and England don't. That's it. So Spain 2, England 1. It's finished here. Pretty poor second half performance from England. Pretty disappointed. But 2 great goals from Spain. Very, very good goals from Pina. Very, very good. He won 3 cups, a fake treble. Okay, so you've just shown 2 things. 1, you're not a Liverpool fan. 2, you weren't around then. You weren't around then. So yeah, so Spain win 2-1. England bow out of the Nations League. Roy won a League Cup. No, he didn't. Roy did not win a League Cup. Roy did not win a League Cup. Roy won a League Cup. The hair is clear of Pickford. Even now, at one point, he was the best in the world. Mate, no, he's not. No, he's not. He's nowhere close to it. Roy won a League Cup. This is it. This is where you don't know what you're talking about, because Roy Hodgson was long gone before Liverpool won that League Cup. Roy Hodgson didn't win anything at Liverpool. He didn't win a thing at Liverpool. He was there for 6 months. He was gone. I don't even think it was 6 months. Wasn't it only 5 months? He won a League Cup. So yeah, listen. Let's call it a day there. We'll watch. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow for the men's Nations League games, and we'll be scouting Liverpool's new signing. Florian Wirtz. We'll be watching that tomorrow. So make sure you've got your notification bell on. Make sure you've subscribed. All that good stuff. And we'll be back tomorrow night for Germany. Sorry, Germany against Portugal in the UEFA Nations League. That's at 6:30 p.m. We'll be live. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. So we'll be live at 6:30, and I will see you all tomorrow evening. Take it easy.